Hello and welcome to Project Harmony, Playday number 6, Season 2. I'm Chambereen and I'm joined by a wonderful Grace V. And it's been a while since we've casted together, Grace. It's been a while since I've actually casted. I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit shaky, but we're getting into this. Grace, how are you feeling today?
Nothing to be nervous about, just something to be anticipated about. I'm very excited. Let's have a look at the schedule and let's see what's going to be ahead of us today. We're going to be starting with Girls on Fire versus Meep, Admin Abuse versus First Trap, and then Cinta Negra Girls versus Silly Slinkies. And I love that name, to be honest, Sham.
I think I love all of the names in this league, to be honest. I was looking for this, I was looking at this earlier, and the names are some of the best I've seen in any leagues. They're just so good. They're so fun to love it. Very quick, brief look at the standings. Silly Slinkies right at the top there, 15 points. After today, they will lock themselves in with whatever points they have, because of course next week they don't have a game. There is one less team in this actually that's kind of missed out, so you get an extra few points from that. Girls on Fire as well, 12 points, and Abuse 10. But the spicy point that we want to talk about, I guess, here is that Meep, Thirst Trap, and Cinta Negra, I mean, even Wildcard Queens, they're all fighting for that final spot, basically. I mean, anything can be mixed up at this point. The top 4 teams go through to the playoffs, but that's the spicy part, Grace, I think.
Absolutely, and again, that mid-table madness that we often talk about can be an interesting thing, but I'd say it's pretty much, unless you're in that top 2 position, the madness is certainly there. Here's a head-to-head anyway for this first game, and as you can see, I mean, relatively nothing too kind of out of the box here in terms of one team doing extraordinarily better than the other, but these are 2 very, very good teams indeed. And again, there have been some very incredible standout performances from some of these players in particular. My eyes are kind of going immediately to Sosu. But again, you know, we look at even things like the plants, you know, in terms of vegans for today, both relatively similar to one another.
Right up your street, to be honest. They knew that you'd be on the broadcast. They were like, you know what, guys, we get some nice balanced out vegans here for this. Of course, pretty even on the plants. Swaggy with a player to highlight. I know that you love a little statistic. I know that kills per round is one of your favourites. 2.8 is pretty decent cost as well. We were kind of talking about this just before we were live. The costs were pretty decent and you know, quite far up there. 72.9%. That is a pretty standout cost, I think.
It's good. You know, we often say you want to be above that 60% mark, so when you get to that 70, that shows you're doing a really good job. Not only are your kills up there, but you're also making the kills are more impactful. Now, that's the way that you really want to see about it. It's about getting those trades right. Okay, yes, you get a kill, but was it a kill this randomly and then you immediately died, or was it that you got the kill and you got like it from a trade and then immediately started cleaning up shop? On the other hand, we have Maddie here as well. Maddie has been around the block a bit over times within the women's circuit for R6, so this will be a familiar name to many people. And again, very, very good statistics here as well. So I think we're expecting a lot out of this matchup in particular. I personally am as well. The main thing for me is that I really, really cannot wait to see what kind of map we're going to be getting to. But for now, it's the player highlight from last week. And again, I did touch on this before. Susu, amazing player, has done a really good job, but look at that cost. Like, this is the main thing, right? 100% cost. Obviously it was a 7-1 last week for them, so naturally you are going to have some pretty spicy statistics, shall we say, but it just shows how much she was literally on fire, girl on fire, quite literally. The trades were not able to be capitalized on. They could not shut her down. Very awkward shenanigans indeed. But what's not awkward, and what is actually a little bit freaky and a little bit exciting, is the fact that for the first time this season, we are going to a Night Haven Labs.
Of course we would get Labs. Of course, the first time we come across from Europe where Labs just doesn't get played at all. We never see it, and we head across and we get to see instantly for the first time I've came back to casting in quite a bit. And I'm excited because it's something fresh, at least for me. It's going to be fresh for the league, and I think it's just fresh in general because we've seen a lot of Clubhouse the last few weeks across the leagues, and I'm just getting a bit tired of it. So I'm happy to see some Night Haven coming through.
Absolutely. Again, the really spicy thing about this for me is the fact that we have not only the first time that this has gone, but I believe the way the map view has gone, where we can see that Meep are the ones to finally go, okay, we'll give the old razzle dazzle, we're not going to go to Oregon, we're going to go to that Labs. And when we look at the way that the map bans have gone throughout the season, we have actually seen that, Girls on Fire have tried to at times avoid the Nighthaven. Meep haven't at all. It shows like Meep are very, very comfortable to go to Nighthaven Labs. The fact that they've able to actually have that choice at the end and go, okay, fine, we'll take you to Labs, of course. Yes, they'll be starting on the attack, but with Labs, there's still these very clean-cut ways that you can approach it. It's a good example of being start to go back and forth facility. It's going to often see across multiple tiers and multiple regions. So I'm excited to see if they do bring out a bit of the old shield work here.
I'm just excited, just in general, just to be here, Grace. Honestly, I have had a little bit of a break. I've been buried in books, doing revision for uni for so long. I'm just excited to get into the game, which is where we're heading just now. So, of course, if you just missed that small portion, it's Nighthaven Labs. And the first band to ring it is the KB, top band operator in the league. So, absolutely no surprises there, Grace.
Absolutely not. This is, again, like a very, very default band at the moment in terms of attacker operators. This is where it gets a bit more interesting for me, because I do think that, of course, in any other league right now, I would go look at that and go, okay, surely it's going to be like a Ying or something like that right now. But, okay. That's a little bit interesting. The ramp coming through. So again, Meep want to avoid that really easy verticality. They want to have that ability where it's like, okay, if you're using the skeleton key, you're using the sledgehammer, you're using soft destructibility, we can still get you from below. We can still use things like C4s. We can still use nades. We can still shoot you through the floorboards. And that kind of adds an extra level of aggression to the vertical play that they could do on their own defense. Azami being banned out again, another standard one at the moment. We are seeing, as classics really, Azami, Fenrir, Solus, things like that coming through more and more as time goes on. Will we see maybe the same thing here from Girls on Fire? Will we see a bit of, yes, we will, there we go, the Fenrir going through. So again, pretty standard really, apart from that Ram. A Ram is quite spicy from me, as I've touched on. I don't often see a Ram ban come through. And again, it really does imply how they themselves are looking to play around their own defense.
Look about a ram action, It's I like to coin it as the lazy man's sledge, Just open up a window, toss it in. You don't have to worry about anyone. You don't have to worry about C4s or anything like that. So it's a bit easier to use. So it's nice to see something come through, getting rid of that as well. Again, you highlighted there's no surprises on the other bands, really. Fenrir, top band as well in the defence, and for good reason. Very strong proponent of the trap system, and really make it difficult for people to push into sight and slow people down as well, especially given that people want to bring that aggression. Bottom floor, though, is where we head for the first dance of this game, by bringing along the bandit, the Cade, the double up on the electric operators, just to make sure they can deny as much as possible when it comes to open up these breaches and these hatches, most likely. And a little bit of Capcan action, Grace. I'd love to see it.
I really love to see that, because again, that always can be a nice, fun thing to bring, especially on this map in particular as well. Due to the way that it plays, sometimes you do get to these late round moments where there are these very tight corners that you have to contest with, and a lot of the time with Nighthaven 2, the drone econ gets really shattered from the get-go, especially, yes, we do have a Solus in play, of course, Girls on Fire aren't bringing that, but especially when usually we do see that Solus lurking about if she has survived the ban phase, so it's where things can get a little bit more interesting, because if Meep don't have that information and they go a bit gung-ho at the end, this could be a little bit awkward. For now, though, they're attacking this basement site, and again, with the way that this works, you've got the externals, they'll be opened relatively quickly. Will the Kayu trick come through? No, it will not. So that wall's open already. They're going to try and get this wall open as well. Again, not really wanting to clear the map right now, going very direct, which I do actually like, to be honest, especially when it comes to this basement site.
Double up of the ace and the thermite, just try and stop it, but he might be able to get beautifully done. Kelpcat finds one on the other side at the same time, but the breach remains closed for now. Sosu on the other side, making sure that that is fought for well, tooth and nail, I guess, if you want to describe it in that way, and as they're just going to send it right at sight. Kelp's just all the way in already. We found one and just decided to push in towards Animus, but slows down for a moment as Sonny out on the Roman Lounge, and Eli will find one as well into Swaggy at the same time. And just keeping things a bit slower here, Kelp. So just wait. They don't want to quite pounce as quick as they initially thought.
Lulu. I shut down there by Swanee, though. No immediate trade to cut back just yet from Meep. So again, Girls on Fire, looking to try and bring this back to even Steven. Swanee is getting tagged up just a little bit. For me right now, again, you've got so much time to work with. You can kind of take your time a little bit here. You've got that player advantage. You can just go for a bit more of that util clear should you wish. Of course, Twitch drones on kind of a weaker side right now, non-left at all, but you can still go through the motions here, work out what you're dealing with. You've got one flash left in the pocket there. It has one. Any gunfights?
It's also feeling a little bit of pressure there. They've stalled out here in Animus. You don't really want to push too far in. They've taken quite a bit of space, but this is the difficult portion. You don't have that main breach open. It's difficult to justify pushing all the way in there and potentially getting cut down, and they can just hold on to these angles. The C4 does ring out, but Garchomp's not anywhere near that to receive any damage. Kelpat's found himself down at the same time, and Eli manages to recover them for now. 3 versus 4 still, with plenty of time on the clock for either team to take this, but it also holds that angle onto the window and stops Kelcat from getting aggressive there. Yuling will find another one to Eli, and this is what's happened. They just get fanned as they hop through this window. They're forced through these singular entry points, and Garchomp above, left with it all to do in a 1 versus 2 scenario.
Absolutely. Still potentially doable if they do have the information, but I'm doubting they have the information needed. This is going to be a lot of face checking, and again, this is what I'm talking about. These really tight angles that you have to try and contest with to make your way towards a site. There's one though. Swanee will go down. Can she find the follow-up just around the corner? A bit of a ring around the roses situation. Might have to turn at the wrong time. No, there we go. Timer has run out. That's really unfortunate stuff. Close, but no cigar. Girls on fire getting their first round on that defence.
Certainly was, courtesy of one singular great bit of play, and that was Sosu on the bandit, managing to trick both the ace and the thermite, kept that main breach closed, and from that, the attacker side, they just decide to push in towards Animus. They know that that position's free, so they can take it, but the issue is, once you push that far in, there's not much you can really do. You're kind of stuck in that position. You have to hop through a window, you have to push through a doorway, and because you haven't opened that other breach, and you haven't got much vertical play, they only really had the twitch upstairs to work with. You just couldn't do anything with it, and you've seen them, just about every single one of them die popping through that window. You can see it on the replay. Sosu just has to hold onto the angle and just waits for them to jump through, and they win around out of that. Nice little play with the 1v1 in the end, just keeping himself out of danger and making sure they just sit on that defuse, and it was a really good round from the attacker side of Meep there. Defender side even. On another planet right now.
I really love the fact that even at the end there it did come down to a 1 versus 1 as well, though, because it really does show like how, especially towards that mid round, it was getting a bit more spicy, a bit more back and forth. I think the thing is with Nighthaven is you can go a bit one-dimensional, but it is better to go 2, right? Because the way that it works, and this is something that especially we see at kind of EUT1, and it's something that the EUT1 players talk about a lot too, is that you kind of can go for a bit more of a sandwich effect when it comes to this site. Obviously difficult when you're on that basement, but at least trying to work some verticality or going above, applying that pressure. People are like, do you know what? No, we'll go direct, we'll try it, we'll go for a little bit of a conga line situation, and yes, sometimes that can work, but it only worked to begin with. Again, they did have the advantage, and that is a great start for Meep as well, getting that opening blood yet again.
That drone actually, Adriella knew there was a player on the hop up and just shot right through the barricade, takes the head of the Cade off the board. Hopefully he's deposited those Cade claws already and they can utilise them later in the round. Yuling feeling a bit of pressure as well from that window. It looks as though it's still a little bit one-dimensional here from the attacking side, looking to try and prod this window enough before getting a little bit of a rotate to the top floor and getting some of that vertical. I imagine it will come at some point. Oh, okay, Yuling just swings the window, takes the head of Garchomp there.
This is the issue again, Meep trying to hyper-focus a bit too much about this one-dimensional push. They need to kind of separate a bit, maybe even send someone to go and work a bit of the old Verti action. Now it's a little bit scrappy because of that. Again, they're trying to find these really tight points to come through, and sometimes you run the risk of accidentally funneling yourself a bit too much, and the moment that penny drops from Meep could be quite spicy in particular, because again, they'd be quite dangerous once they realise, okay, we can apply that pinch pressure as the round progresses. For now, though, just trying to get the info they need. Going to apply this ferocity. Draggly does get shut down, nearly goes for the res, but Eli is there. 3 versus 3, even Steven Sham, and this is where things start to heat up a bit, because he once again got loads of time. So much blood is being spilt for the majority of this round, and there's still loads of time at the end for people to try and reassess, go for something else. Ferociousness.
Just conscious that there could be someone upside down me, and then there is. He hops through the window, but there's a C4 to claim their life, pre-placed and ready and waiting. hit the button and Adriella is removed from the round, and now it's Acerella and Eli in a 2 versus 3. But pushing through the doorway, hits a go mine, is not looking too good. Finds himself leaving the round with nothing but a whimper. Gil's on fire, finds himself a second round.
Gil's on fire doing a really good job of locking down these defensive rounds. And again, majority of the time, it's not that they're doing anything too, you know, flamboyant. It's not like they're doing anything too out of the ballpark here. They're just really just waiting for Meep to come to them and taking advantage of these dicey angles. I wonder if Meep will eventually start to repick onto his shield ops. There's something, again, I did touch on this. I do want to see it come through. Because it is becoming a little bit of a golden one when it comes to the way that Nighthaven is with comp. It just allows you that extra bit of pressure, right? Because again, these are these tight points you have to go through. Yes, it's like you are this, I guess, ominous threat of being that shield, but it also gives you so much more information. You're essentially a walking drone at that point. And that could be very useful for Meep right now, especially if they want to get that information to then capitalize off.
Certainly is the case. That previous round there, I did want to see a little bit more vertical, so I'm hoping to see a little bit more action later on. Moving into round number 3 though, Grace. A little bit of Brava action. I do like a lot of drone operator, like a bit of Twitch, like a bit of Brava, especially in my ranked games. Purely because I can't aim, so I might as well do something useful. I think Garchomp has a bit of a better aim than me though, and will likely have probably better usage of this Brava as they try to do something about this bandit, which has been an issue on the bottom floor, and I imagine we're going to have a similar scenario here at the top floor. They do have the ace as well, so we'll see if they can try and play this little mini game here and try to beat out the bandit here, just tossing all the EMPs at the wall, gets one and decides, you know what, I'm not going to go for the second, let's just differ at that scenario. They can have it, waste a couple of seconds at a time, but they do invariably get that breach open on the IT side.
AT waiting around the corner for this approach, holding the tiniest of pixels. Ooh, a bit of a late procs could be quite interesting. Gives at least a bit of an audio here. Someone sneaks in, but looking at the wrong time. The lineup was there, and Garchomp's going to get a little bit of a pick there.
Yep, Neoling will bite one back. It's Acerella to fall. She's got a little bit overzealous, tried to act a bit too quick. Neoling punished them for that. Try to find another one! Beautifully done! Garchomp removed from the round this time. 4 versus 3 established, and as quick as that, it turns into 3 versus 2 as Cat finds one, and it's also with another. Cat and Ellie now in a 2 versus 3 with a minute and a half left, Grace. So much time to work with.
Again, this is something that we keep seeing round after round. Not only that, but of course, Ellie does have those smokes in pocket. Could be a little bit of cover if they need it, if they can sneak in. I think they might struggle a little bit. You see a reposition from Swanee as well. That's quite interesting. This could be a little bit of the old flankaroonie action coming through. That could potentially catch Meep a little bit off guard here. Second X-Flip finally being used just to open up a bit more breathing room, a bit more space, another entry point into the site. Meep need to up the ante now. They need to bring that. Ooh, indeed, champ. Not really gone to the extent that they thought it would.
Purpose. It was almost, I think they put that on the soft floor to do that, to get around the fact that it was bandited, just to find something. Sony from behind will come up in the backstab and will find Ellie, but it's going to find a double kill as well at the same time. Girls on Fire will find the 3rd round in a row.
Again, I think that was a really good call from Swanee, being like, do you know what? I am just going to go and go a bit cheeky with it. You'll have to see it. Right now, Meep not calling a timeout. Still feeling vibes about it. Still feeling chill. Of course, this decision, this map was down to Meep also. I think that, in a way, slightly concerns me, given that I felt like I thought they were going to maybe get a few more rounds out on this approach. Of course, there are still going to be 3 more rounds. They can bring us to 3-3 before that side switch. Just need to up the ante just a little bit. Again, if they're having difficulty applying these pressure points, bring out the old shield of Rooney's.
Are you just going to be the big advocate for shields on this map? Is that what
Nighthaven and a big chunky Monty is a match made in heaven.
I mean, invariably, someone will bring it. It will happen at some point. You put someone's back against the wall, that's what happens. You bring out the shields. Like, it's usually the best way to do it. Yeah, we'll throw a blitz at them, we'll throw a money at them. But it is a map that, like you say, it does suit it, so we'll probably see it at some point. The thing that I guess looking forward to and looking for a little bit better action from Meep is dealing with the bandit. Trying to find a way to get this opened up, and they did it a bit more effectively on the top floor. This time though, on the bottom floor, I want to see them get this wall open. I want to see them actually play for it and see if they can outwit this bandit player.
Only time will tell. You see the Brava action coming through with the EMP, so that should make relatively quick work. They just need to be careful of this tricking. The claw's going down already. It should get it, I think.
Ooh.
Yes, indeed it does. There we go. It's already a better start for the side of Girls on Fire when it comes to defending these walls. Of course, last time it was a base Monte. They did get that left wall open nice and swiftly, and struggled a little bit with this right. Isuzu really holding on for dear life here.
This time, got it this time.
Down.
Yeah.
Then she... Yes, there we go. Perfect stuff.
No way.
The Selma vote to back it up. There we go. There's that line of sight that you need, that extra layer of aggression. I would still like to see maybe a bit of verticality or additional pressure elsewhere coming through from Meep, but for now they've at least got that one entry point open. They can start to try and get these picks under their belt.
A little better action than they did the last time. Oh, it's got something to work with, and like you highlighted, I would like to see a little more verticality. We'll see if they do bring that, but for now they're just prodding at this main breach and just trying to find something. Someone maybe to over-aggress a little bit. HA just thinking about it. Hold on an angle, waiting for it. Hellcat's made a bit of a rotate round into the midpoint of the map and waiting for anyone to come round, catch them unawares. It's Sonny on the top floor with the Solace, roaming around, still causing a nuisance, and there's only a minute left, so even that roamer out there could be quite dangerous should we get to that latter stages of the round. C4 prepped as well for Sosa, just thinking about where they're going to come from here. But Meep, I think I need to get moving a little bit here and maybe make a decision here, Grace, I think.
Could be dangerous business indeed, because again, realistically, if you're bringing that Solus to the table, not only are, yes, one, maybe you getting rid of these drones, but it's allowing you to know where that entry point is going. They're going to drone where that entry will be. There we go. Kelp is shut down. Really good stuff there from Girls on Fire.
Oh my god. Unbelievable. They have an exact yellow pin perfectly on the Solus and still lose the gunfight. Beautifully done from Sonny there. Had a great round the last time here, and look at the aggression starting to come down. They start to swing the breach as Meep have let their indecisiveness get to them a little bit now as Girls on Fire begin to get in their faces and start peeking these breaches, swinging these windows, getting in their face and trying to collect some of these kills. Garchomp hitting the cargo staircase slowly does it as they just edge towards the site, but the diffuser's down and cold. They're going to have to try and recover that if they want to get it back. Swaggy, they'll find Garchomp. 2 members left alive and only one with hopes and dreams of this round. It is Adriella. Can she make something work here? But 8 seconds, full 5 stack in front of them. There's not going to be much to do. A little bit of a trade though. Girls on Fire, they'll find themselves a 4th round.
I was going to say, at least she denied the flawless, right? I think sometimes you could at least allow that to brush yourself off a little bit and go, okay, well, we denied the flawless. It is what it is.
Yep.
Again, no sign of the timeout. Meep just really wanting to go for the motions here. Sticking to their guns. Maybe if they feel positive, optimistic, they can pull it back on their defense. But if they get these next 2 rounds, that's going to be a good standing point to do that on. This was very unfortunate indeed. But again, so this is the beauty of it, right? Because you see where those drones are coming from. We talk about this a lot. The drones will tell you where that entry point is going to be. Then you can just set yourself up. You can wait. You can wait for that entry to come through, shut them down. No one, unfortunately, was close enough for that trade to occur either. But it looked like a little bit of a solo entry there. So again, that's a difficult one really for me to do, because you need someone there ideally for the trade. Didn't quite do it though. At least they tried though. At least they tried to, go for that additional angle of pressure, that additional entry point. Girls on Fire right now, quite literally feeling like they're on fire. Very comfortable position for them to be in right now. What would be very dangerous right now for me is if Girls on Fire do make it to a 6-0 half.
Yeah, certainly. I think though, there is a little bit of solace in the fact that it is Nighthaven, and it is one of the maps that it will catch out teams for not being uncoordinated. Like a little bit of late reinforcement there. Got a little bit closer, Sonny.
That is very cheeky. That's very cheeky. It's the riskiest reinforcement you can do, because you have to wait, of course, for you to be able to fling yourself from those windows, and then quickly get it down. And I love the fact that they backed it up even with one of those electric claws. That's a little bit spicy. That's a big, you are not getting past this unless you're bringing those EMPs, but I would imagine most teams would really prep for that anyway. It's just going to be very difficult because once again, people end up most likely funneled into a one-dimensional approach. Where things might start to get fast and furious yet again from the get-go. You see how much blood can be spilt from the get-go between these two.
Oh.
Okay, it's going to take out Sawney. That's the alibi dealt with. Ellie will also fall. So both teams taking a little bit of blood. We need to, once again, up the ante, get rid of some of this util, get these setups going nice and swiftly.
Interesting that they decided to go upstairs for a sec there. They kind of prodded it for a few seconds and thought, you know what, actually, no, we're going to go back, try something differently. It seems like they've dropped down and going to go for this breach here now, but they get aggressive here. Adriella will find one, doesn't realise there's a second there, but the kill feed lights up as Kelpcat's found himself a triple, leaving Swaggy in a 1 versus 3, but they've got Doc, so pretty good gun in tow, an ACOG on their hand. And they can, if they need to, replenish the HP should they find themselves in that position. Kelpcat just overexposes a little bit there, not quite ready for it. As Isorella decides to push on through. They try and push for that refrag, but it's not going to come yet. Still a minute to work with for the attackers to try and lock this final kill down and shut it off. But the plant will be attempting to Legion Mine in the foot here, so the cover isn't quite in the position it should be. But down and out in the first round on the board for Meep.
Finally securing one of those rounds under their belts. Made me feeling pretty happy about that. Again, it's not really the most fun times to lose 4 rounds in a row, so now they're striking back a little bit. Can they bring this to a 4-2 split? Of course, that would be way more advantageous when they go into that defensive half. And again, I have to think pleasantly surprised because I do really want to see it, but I am surprised to see that Meep aren't bringing out the shield here. And Kelpcat, again, as you've seen, went large that last round. Really incredible stuff there.
Bit of aggression works out in their favour. I think that has been one of their biggest detriments, I think, though, in this half so far from Meep, is their indecisiveness, and you can kind of criticise, maybe they could play a little bit more fair, maybe they could play this, maybe they could play that, but ultimately you don't really know what the comms are and what their strategies are. But the thing is that's kind of clear is that they haven't really decided on each point. At that point there, they made a decision, let's get aggressive, let's go for this take here and see what we can get for it, and it worked. And that change of pace got them out, they get around on the board, and that could be the difference maker, just for not only just the mentality but the actual game at whole, because there's a real possibility they'll be going to the other half and they get on the defence and they get comfortable, and then we see a similar scenario for them.
Bit of Tubbs action coming through now. Do love a bit of Tubero. On a Saturday night, of course. A match made in heaven. That's going to be a very good way at locking down some of these walls as well. We've seen, to be honest, what a good job that Girls on Fire have done so far at maintaining pressure around these walls at times, and perhaps it's going to add an extra element to that. Of course, will also potentially shut down of utility as well. And oh god, I'm getting flashbacks from the other day in Europe League, actually, to be honest. I'm actually getting NARM-style flashbacks. Etchi could cause a very big upset if remaining undiscovered for a while. I'm literally getting flashbacks. Oh, Sony! Are you really going to do it to them? Kelpcat falling to the ground. And no rage come through from the Eva. And here we go. The bandit charges stacking up with the Tubbs action. The stuff you love to see. That wall is not getting opened at all.
Yep, that's going to be very difficult to get open now, especially given that they only have the ace. Thermite gone. Adriella, though, will at least shut down Sonny, and that area of the map now can be taken. Where's that? There'll be staircase. Throw down some claymores. Just make sure that there's anyone going for the flank that could be caught out. AJ does manage to get the reward for sitting in a hiding spot. Connector was reinforced, gets a double as well. It was a risky game to reinforce it and leave them in there to die, but if they're going to pick up a double kill, you do it again. Maybe go on the hunt for a third. They know there's a player there that's spotted ahead for a second, but doesn't quite realise it was ahead. And swing comes through from Garchomp, who at least gets a late reflag, but there's a C4 from below. Yuling snatch onto Garchomp, leaving Acerella on a 1 versus 3.
Great Dividends to scrap their way out of a rock in a hard place. Girls on fire, being a bit spicy with it, being a bit freaky with it. There we go, Yuli Ying is going to try their best, and finally, Gar is there, takes him out. Very happy about that. This is the danger zone though now. Of course, we are going on to that side switch, and Girls on Fire on a 5-1 lead. Should they play this on a little bit of multi-dimensional pressure, they should be able to secure this victory. However, we see more, I guess, kind of like, again, tunnel visioning at times on these approaches. This is where things could get a little bit more spicy. I'm very curious to see how Meep are going to play around this too, of course, looking at the fact that they, we touched on this before, the RAM is gone, right? So typically that spells to me, we're going to have over 9,000 C4s, we're going to be playing on the Verti, we're going to be willing to take your toes out. That's where things get a bit more exciting for me as time goes on. We will see what happens, we will see how these lineups start to look, but for the most part, I still don't know how this is going to go, Sam, and I'm usually pretty good at predicting how things are going to go. Meep could definitely put it back here. Girls on Fire could take the lead. There's so many things that genuinely could happen here. Love the fact that we're going to see a bit of glass action coming through. I'm wondering if that pick is going to stick, though. Yuli,
we'll see.
Looking, yes, indeed. There we go. Okay, spicy.
I like this, right? I was actually going to maybe highlight this a little bit further back. I wanted to see a little bit of Maverick action on it. But what is this Ella strat? I absolutely love it. The shield outside. Oh, okay. They brought the Maverick in the glass, and it's been a bit of a... They were going to attempt to go for it, but they managed to kill off Kelpcat anyway in that aggressive position, and Acerel will find himself at least a balancing of the equations. It's a 4 versus 4. The glass is gone, so that's that little pocket strat gone with it. The wall is wide open, but how do you deal with the shield? You have to try and get rid of it. Have to rotate someone around to deal with it.
Oh, spicy stuff indeed. Looking for the footsies. Sawney does take out Acerello though. So more blood falling, more blood spilling. Girls on Fire looking to maybe get a few more heads, a few more scalps up their belt. They can at least get one more here. They can almost smell the match point. Adriello is going to make this difficult for them. A very spicy place to be playing from. Yep. Given you have that much of a place advantage, but sometimes you have to have the confidence. You have to have the gumption. There's that vertical pressure I was looking for potentially. No, it's not going to come through. Adriello is going to hightail it out of there. Goodness me, Shankarine.
Yes, that was an interesting one. I was going to talk about the Maverick and the glass, and Ella's just out of the breach. Nuts. Moving on. Ellie now, just waiting for anyone to wander into Animus. So work will be done on this wall from Sony. We'll more than likely get it opened up. Of course, they can do this pretty much for free. They have a Maverick control. They can get around that electricity. Of course, they still have that vertical angle as well. Garchomp was covering off the main breach at the time, and then too quick. 1-2 punch. Fosu and AJ will find himself one piece, and this one on to the hatch from Garchomp. We'll find HA, and now the diffuser will be attempting to go down from Swaggy. I imagine it will be successful. Garchomp on a 1 versus 3. Nothing to work with now, but the diffuser will put the pressure on him. Can't quite make the rotate here, Grace. This is a little bit of a dog's dinner situation happening here.
Absolutely. Garchomp needs to be a little bit assertive here. Misses the head just by seconds. And Swaggy's going to secure that. That indeed is a match point now. Goodness me, Sham. Meep. I really expected a fair amount of punch from them given that this was their decision ultimately. And again, they've shown that, well, you know what, we're comfortable with Nighthaven. Again, we look at the statistics here, Sham. They haven't really banned out Nighthaven. Nighthaven has been banned against them. It's almost like people were like, okay, we don't want to take Meep to Nighthaven. And that had me thinking, that had me funking, okay, maybe Meep are going to cook something here. And this is a little bit heartbreaking to me to see right now. Girls on Fire, however, Frenchy Death Stack.
Yeah.
Quite literally living up to their name right now. Assertive, bold, certainly willing to put their foot down, show their mark. A 6-1 right now. Could potentially be a 6-7. 7-1, sorry.
It's kind of interesting though, because I was going to talk about the Glaz and the Maverick, and I wanted to see something like that from me when they were on their attacking side. I wanted to see something just to try and catch the bandit out, just try and play around that and see if they can come up with something that way. See it from Girls on Fire, and that was probably the vision for it. But obviously, counter-strat and counter-strat, you don't expect an Ella to just be on a shield outside the breach. Unfortunately for Meep though, they overpeak it, and I think there was actually just a slight lack of trust there, because I think they could have played there a little bit longer, because all they really had was the flashes. Realistically, you're not going to push that shield, you're not going to run at that shield, because you're probably going to get swung from them. That's the kind of assumption there. So them pulling back a little bit, losing the life to the Glaz was a little bit of an oversight, and I think that maybe they could have done a little bit better there, but it's gone past now. 6-1. Pressure fully on Meep to get some sort of action here, but it is still defense, Grace. I have some faith in them that they can get something going here. The Maverick here, very early on, getting that IT wall opened up here for Girls on Fire.
Absolutely. This is making very swift work of things indeed as well. And the extra potential spicy line of sight Isuzu can have here as well. Just looking, waiting. Okay. Sawney is there. Serrano is going to fall down. Isuzu looking for someone to peek it, begging for someone to peek it. Adriella is going to be taken out as well. Achi is there ready and waiting on the Jackal, of course. We love a bit of Jackal action.
That's some pretty deep angle there from Garchomp on the DMR with the ACOG. I think Sosu is aware that that is where they're playing, and they're just going to wait around, linger on the upside down rappel, waiting for someone to get a little bit overzealous. Garchomp will find one back. That's IHE shut down. Hepcat moving around in the opposite of the objective. Try to find somewhere comfortable below, though the Ash Charge comes up just to make a little bit of a nuisance here, but it's all starting to fall apart here. The Killfield Lake's up for a second, Ellie's down and gone, and Garchomp's in a 1 versus 3. Still half the round left to go. Well, they've acted quick here. Girls on Fire don't want to linger around inside of this server any longer than they have to, but there's pressure coming from every which way, and Sosu shuts it down, and Girls on Fire, they take the map 7-1 on Nighthaven.
Girls are on fire, your defense is terrified. As the saying goes, a 7-1 victory to get things started. What a night this is looking to be, Sham. And again, for Girls on Fire, they're going to be feeling so stoked about that, especially given, again, how these standings are looking right now. They were in the second spot. I believe that gives them the 3 points they need to now be even Stevens with Silly Slinky. So they're going to be kind of side-eyeing Silly Slinkies now. Like, okay, we'll see how you do today. Because again, is it Girls on Fire that aren't playing tomorrow, I believe?
Yeah, so, no, it's not Girls on Fire. So Silly Slinkies play once today. And then that's it. They don't have another game, so they have one more chance, and then it's whereas Girls on Fire still have another game after it.
Even spicier then, because again, Girls on Fire, they're going to be side-eyeing Silly Slinkies right now. Like, okay, we have caught up with you now. Obviously, tomorrow, Girls on Fire will be playing again, and that's an opportunity to overtake and take that top position. So, yeah, exciting stuff on the horizon, Sham.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that despite me losing, that actually is technically a little bit better for the spiciness of that 4th and 5th area, because that means that you just stay on 8 points, they still stay in the mix for that area, and it means that Thirst Trap have a chance to then leapfrog them tonight if they win. And if Thirst Trap lose, then that means that next week we will have Meep versus Thirst Trap as could be a decider for getting into that last spot. So it actually could begin to look very, very spicy. But we will get into that when we come back after a very short break with our next game. And we'll see you shortly. Alright, bye-bye. Hello and welcome back to Project Harmony. I am Chamberine, once again joined by Grace V, and we've just watched Our first game of the night is finished. It's over. Girls on Fire, they won that 1-7-1 versus Meep. We're moving on to our second game, though, which is Thirst Trap versus Admin Abuse. And I am excited to head into this. Grace, how are you feeling?
I'm really excited about this one, to be honest.
Keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself.
Admin Abuse versus Thirst Trap. Thirst Trap, of course, last weekend wasn't the most fun of experiences for them. I'm hoping that they're going to come back with that kind of hunger and ferocity, that fire in their bellies that we know and love. That willingness to be like, okay, we need to absolutely send it now to brush off those cobwebs that we have on ourselves maybe from last week. Admin Abuse themselves, of course, being higher up in the standings. They're currently in that third position right now on that 10-pointer. So Thirst Trap really want to send it to try and even up there. They want to try and get into that third spot, but Admin Abuse want to be pushing themselves, I don't even pushing themselves, keeping themselves almost in that third place position right now, battling it out for that mid-table. Yeah. This is the stuff we love to see, Sham, and again, realistically, everything's on the line here for both these sides.
Yeah, I'm so mixed on how I want to see this go, actually, just because it's like if all the teams that are in the mid-table lose, then you just have an absolute stormer of a final day. So if one of them wins, then they've set themselves up really successfully to go into that final play day and potentially stamp their ticket in the playoffs. Just obviously having a very quick look at the two rosters, kind of comparing them together. Costs are very similar. We've seen this in the last game as well. They're quite close to one another overall cost. Plants as well, a little bit better on the side of Thirst Trap for now, 6-4, but we're getting a good spread again when it comes to the plants, Grace. So again, you highlighted the vegans in the last game. I think you're an enjoyer of the plants.
Well, it's just easy, right? Because again, I often say time is the sixth defender. As soon as you get that plant down, it spins the timer into that sixth attacker. That's where you're in that power position. That's where you yourself just have to hold those angles, win those gunfights. I make it sound so easy, of course. It's never that easy. But of course, there are some very good players on this team. As you can see, Melly is here. Ahead of us, and again, the way that they've been playing in particular throughout this season has been so good, and thank you, production. I didn't get the vegan joke last time. I'm hoping you do get it this time. Speaking of vegans, Melly hasn't been getting any plants down herself, but there is always time if they need to, and remember, of course, there's going to be different roles. Melly likes to get a little bit freaky with it. Not really focusing on the objective as much, more likely we'll be focusing on those picks. And of course, on the side of Thirst Trap, we are going to see Panda. Now, Panda has been around the block for a while, certainly a very competent and capable player, and again, will be in more of, well, I would assume an aggressive position. I think that's really where she strives, being one of those aggressors, taking those gunfights, trying to get those opening picks under her belt. But again, you could say that for a lot of this Thirst Trap side, to be honest, realistically. Quite surprising to see how the standings are looking right now for that lot. Again, a lot of different experience there, a lot of big veteran experience. And what else highlights that than, of course, Jess Goat being on the roster. Again, it was really exciting to see this roster appear before my eyes a few weeks back. At the start of the season, I was like, okay, this is going to be quite a fun one to see. Of course, you got Sanjaya there too. Jane as well. Jane's been around the block for a very long time, playing in comp, of course, starting in Bish and Chips and then going into Cheese Grills, Cryptic, and now, of course, Thirst Trap as well. And I think the really interesting thing about that roster in particular is that there are these moments where certainly they have the ability there to go for those solo plays, but you also get on the side of Admin Abuse, like Kato, for example. Kato has had years of experience at this point, and I do expect a lot from her. What I also expect is some spiciness with the map veto, and what is even spicier than once again us going to Nighthaven Labs. We haven't seen this map the entire season, and now finally we're seeing it twice in a row.
Yeah, we certainly are. That's the most wild ban phase I've ever seen, by the way, for a best of one in a long time. Consulate, Sky, and Labs being the last three. What is going on? No club, no chalet, Oregon. They're like, we do not want any of that standard stuff here today. We're heading into Nighthaven. I'm excited to see it again. Ran back, of course. We're always excited to see as much freshness in the league and get to see some different things. I'm hoping to see a bit more of a closer game though. Of course, 7-1 was the last time. We're heading in just now. I imagine bans will be very similar to what we've seen the last time, the DKB and the Fenrir. I don't know if your opinion is different, Grace.
Yeah, that's realistically what we should be seeing. The classics really here. The Dokkaebis, maybe a bit of Ying action to come through as well. Of course, some classic hard breach, of course, could be the thing too. There we go. A Thatcher, what's more classical than that? Those EMPs being removed from the board. That's going to make those externals in particular a lot more difficult to open, especially if people are playing around the Kaid Claws and those bandit charges as well. The beauty of Night Havens is how many external walls do actually exist here, and your ability to get them open nice and swiftly. That certainly puts a difficult thing in. That was in chat about having go to school with Giraffe Titans and Ceratops, but you know what? Beautiful,
too much yapping.
beautiful work.
I think you've pretty much encapsulated that there. Too much yapping.
Too much yapping. The Brava pick coming through from first up, though, is already good indeed, because, again, Brava is very, very useful if you want to get those cams under your belt very swiftly, very quickly. You want to not have to worry too much about taking out the cameras, but even get them in your favor. It's more information from the get-go. It's more intel for you to work with and communicate off. The Fenrir Classico. Solus being banned as well. We saw actually the impact of Solus on that last map, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. These powerful defensive operators that we keep pointing out, making the game a lot more defender weighted nowadays. It's always been a little bit defender weighted, but certainly now more than ever. Of course, there will be changes coming, and there have already been changes coming. But it's still a bit of a rough one. So again, removing the Fenrir and removing that Solus, of course we still will have the Azami should people want to fall back onto that. And of course Chubaro is in play too. We see Cavi already utilising that operator.
Well, I'm very glad that I only threw out 2 guesses, because wouldn't have guessed Bravo. I wouldn't have guessed Solus there. What I had written down was completely different, so I'll keep that to myself. I got one of them right. I got Fenrir right. Okay, that's right. We'll leave it as that. Top floor. First attempt here. Last map we've seen, bottom floor was the first site we went to, but top floor is where we go this time. And a Tubarão coming out a little bit earlier. Say a little bit earlier, way earlier than we seen it in the last Night Haven in the game before this. It's the very first round paired with the Bandit. I imagine we'll see a very similar situation as what we've seen before, fighting over that IT breach, potentially fighting over that connector breach. Bob's your uncle, whichever one you want to go for, really.
Deployed.
Kato waiting for a C4 pick that is not going to come, as our wonderful observer is showing. No one's really approaching from that side.
Device placed.
Keep a bit of a southern take instead. Looks like they are trying to make sure the entire map is clear. There's no roamers lurking here, there and everywhere, but they are most likely still going to get this external open. Some nice little potential hint that we might get a bit of split pressure coming through, and that's exactly what it looks like, a second dimensional approach. This is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to especially Night Haven. Yes, 9 times out of 10 you want to be able to have that split pressure, but Night Haven's such a good map for doing it, right, Sham? The sandwich effect, as we often say. The sandwich effect.
You just love Night Haven. I can hear it in your voice, and you get so giddy.
I freaking love this map. I love it so much. I love a cheeky bit of Night Haven.
Night Haven is a great map. One of the best ones that they've added in recent times. I think. Oh, I imagine we're about to see a little bit of a tussle over this IT breach here. You can see Jess and Sanjaya just teeing us up. Jane as well rotates around. I imagine they get the double up on the hard breach, and has to attempt to try and deny it. Melzo will find seriously on the other side as Baka cases came round to support Hung, but they'll find one, and half the breach will be opened up. And that's a minute and a half gone, and the IT breach is wide open.
Absolutely, it's even saying there, like Kitty and Sanjaya applying this additional angle of pressure, going through these choke points at the back as well. So really for first trap, this is a powerful position to be in. They just need to set up, work out what they're going up against. Again, and get those 3-2-1s on the lockdown, create the breathing room, try and go for this collapse. Already Kitty trying to bait into these engagements. And Libya's playing very, very passive, and I actually like that from them. They're not willing to risk it for a chocolate biscuit. They know they're in a powerful position, which is the nature of Night Haven. There we go, even better. That entry point by Kitty being shut down by Kato. Another one there. Double kill for the round as Jane's going to fall also. and Jari and Jess all up to them in it to win it. Can they do it, Sham?
Jess on a prone angle, inside meeting, waiting for someone to aggress a little bit more in connector. Cat's not going to do it. Just a drone is just going to wait patiently on the corner. Of course, they have the SMG-11 and shotgun in the pocket, so they can play the close angle. The diffuser is cold outside of that connector breach. Sanjaya hops on the drones just to make sure they have at least a little bit of intel to act off here, but Jess is going to be up against it here, trying to get in here. They do know where Cal is, will eventually shut them down. Only the two in this round before they are finished off. But now they have to try and pair this together, trying to cross towards connector, trying to do something in electrical. Hung's going to go for the swing. We'll find Sanjaya leaving Jess in a 1 versus 4. Only 7 seconds on the clock, and Jess isn't really moving too quick. I think they are just going to rest here and know that the round has bypassed them.
Operators.
Yeah, not like you can do it there. It's just waiting for someone to over-aggress. Again, for admin abuse, they played that just cool, calm and collected. They didn't overstep, they didn't push out, they waited for First Trap to come to them. I think the main issue there was really First Trap being able to get that opening pick into their favour. Mostly, again, yes, they might have had some info, but they're tight angles to swing if you don't really have the util in your pocket to go for it. You do need that perfectly timed pressure. Of course, Kato going for that initial 2k was a little bit spicy too, because you're immediately losing out some of these players that could have been that extra little bit of fight that you needed. But again, really well played to Kato for shutting down. Could have been a dangerous collapse from First Trap.
Certainly could. And I think for the round, it looked pretty good to start with for admin abuse, for First Trap even. I think it looked like it was a good start to them, but ultimately things kind of just fell by the wayside when it came to that defence there. Tuberal coming through again. If we're moving on to round 2, Bandit pairing is almost becoming a classic at this point. I like to see it on Nighthaven. It's becoming a little bit of a staple ban when it comes to club and stuff. I haven't seen it banned as much as Nighthaven went to, but I was first out. It was almost like an insta ban because it was like, oh, this is a nightmare trying to get through here. I imagine that Hung will be supported by Cavi, and they'll try to deal with this breach here and try and slow them as much as possible. They've also got a little pairing up with the Rooney Gates as well, just makes things a little bit more difficult for them.
First Trap once again looking to probably go for a similar approach of playing through the motions of this map, making sure they have that sandwich in their pockets. Can they capitalize off it a little bit more this time? We see the fuse pick come out from Jess, you know, and again, that is a great one. I love to see it. There we go. We already hear it going off. There's hockey pucks coming out, making sure that not only are you killing utility, you're getting a follow-up to go down into sight as well. And that's the beauty of this, right? Not just, okay, the initial destructibility there. I can also then use those pucks to go all the way down to the bottom there. That's going to hopefully clear up so much utility, potentially catch some people off guard as well. So it's a very clever use from First Trap from the get-go, from a very safe position, really going through the motions of trying to give themselves a little bit more breathing room.
Yeah, gives them quite a bit of that vertical play and comfortable necessarily. Seriously, it's just now beginning some of that. Yeah.
This is it. I love it so much. This is why I love this map, right? You look how much pressure they are getting all the way from the top floor. So even if Admin want to go for a little bit of ego, we go there, shut down because the angles are so tiny, and Kitty is there. Kitty is willing to get her claws out. This is going to be an incredible round. I hope Gabby is able to shut down Kitty though. Good trade there. Can First Trap flat back with some velocity of their own. Kato once again is there, seriously falling to her hands. Kato looking for a follow-up. No one's going to be there though. Cavi is going for a bit of a rotation here. 3 versus 4, but still loads of time for First Trap to work with.
Kato in control room on the smoke. I imagine the comm that followed up that death was, why are they there? I love the chaos factor of an SMG-11 just floating around in that mid-floor, just going on the hunt trying to find something. 3-1 right now for Kato as they just try to sweep through the map to try and reclaim some of that position, which is something that they have to do. You give up so much of that vertical, you know that you have to get aggressive and do something and try to get back. And Jesco will fall to Mills as Kato now makes a rotate round in towards storage and has reclaimed that vertical angle and can hold on to the breach there. Use smoke waves to burn time. There's absolutely no way way they're going to get through here. Basket Case will shut down Jane. There's only one member left alive, it's Sanjaya, but this position here from Kato is absolutely beautiful. 10 seconds apiece, and there's no way that Sanjaya can get themselves in here without being either cut down or pushed back. This is just going to be exit frags here if they do find anything, but they won't find a single thing as Basket Case finishes them off. And another round on the defense.
2 on the trot now. I think first trap will call for a timeout. Doesn't look like it just yet. Up in the ante, maybe wanting to go for the full rotation themselves. See where they're at after this round. Basically going out again for admin abuse. They're playing this so well. Despite the fact that, again, I love what first trap are doing. Like, again, I love the knowledge and just really knowing, again, how beautiful Nighthaven can be for these kinds of plays. The long lines of sight, really aggressive verticality, beautiful use of the fuse from the get-go. It's really unfortunate that couldn't quite translate that across the round to the round win.
Yep.
And again, Cham, to be honest, like a big part of that is just the fact that admin abuse, once again, they're just playing very passive on these offences. They know that they don't really have to get too freaky with it. Why would you be hyper-aggressive if you can just sit and chill and hold these nasty angles, as is the nature of Nighthaven, as we touched on. Very spicy angles there. Once again, we see the run out for this hatch. But it's a good run out.
There is enough time to get this.
But safety first.
If you instantly out, there is enough time to get there. No one can get to you and kill you. So I like the assurance there, though. Cattle and SMG11 there. I imagine that someone's got a death mark ready on their face for it. That SMG11 is hungry or something. Seriously, thinks of it going in there. The drones are coming through. Cattle again, just waiting for someone to wander in there and take this vertical position. They've been left up there on their lonesome. They have the mute jammers as well. Actually, they have Cavi on the Legion out towards Electric at the same time. So there is 2 of them on that top floor here, and Cavi's potentially about to enter into the first engagement of this round, leading the way seriously. Honda lining in together, they all push through, and Cavi thinks better of it. You know what, no guys, I think there's quite a few of them, so I'm going to pull back here. A hole's made in the wall towards Connector, so Cavi in a bit of a sticky situation here, but for now, still alive and kicking. A minute has been burned away as Jescott just opens up an extra angle to continue that pressure onto Cavi. He's managed to waste a decent amount of time, but Kato was the one that's finished off. It's Sanjaya to find the other player on the top floor from that window inside of Meeting, so Cavi's left with it all to do on this top floor to prevent them getting a position set up for the vertical, but doesn't quite realise that wall's open, and Sanjaya will take Cavi's life. That's the 2 roamers gone, and they can now begin some of this vertical play.
Jaya opening up so much breathing room now for the side of first trap. We're going to start to see more of this verticality come through. Kitty working that hammer, working the magic. We might see a C4 come through from Trippy Mel's right now. Doesn't look like it just yet. Again, looking to challenge with verticality, looking for the pixel, potentially, of Kitty's head. Kitty is going to take out Hung. Trippy is going to get tagged up significantly. Kitty has been down, but C4 was sent out. Potentially she can be picked up, so should realistically be a 2 versus 5 collapse, with still, again, a load of time to work with. 50 seconds on the clock, Sham.
Certainly a lot of time to work, though, but very difficult positions here for the defence. Basket Case locked inside of Kitchen here, and we'll start to feel a bit more pressure from the other side. The window is cracked open, and the Renegade is burned off. The Basket Case can at least shut down Sanjaya outside on this window, then it does make things a little bit easier to move around. They are safe from the vertical in this position, at least for now, so it's a decent area they can get comfortable in. Mel's, though, feeling this enclosing around them. They just feeling the pressure as they go for the rotate, though. They decide to get themselves out of that scenario, move around towards the 90 corridor. There's a player caught, and their sprint animation seriously will fall. It's a beautiful shot. Jane's in to get the defuse down. Sanjaya shuts down Basket Case, but the diffuser is cold and down. There's 8 seconds gone. It's a great position here from Mel, but has to swing out. They have recovered the diffuser to cross. There's Sanjaya there with the cover, and Thirst Trap, they'll take their first attacking round on Nighthaven.
Really unfortunate stuff there, just being a bit too exposed, not hiding and waiting around that timer. They were waiting to see if that diffuse was stuck, and it could have given you a few more seconds to shut it down yet again. First up, finally getting around on the table, though. I'm going to be feeling it pretty happy about that. I certainly should have put the Gust under their sails going forward now.
I think we're in for a treat here, Grace. I think we are.
I do too.
The way that Thirst Trap are playing this, they're looking very methodical. Even that round before this, they looked in pole position to set themselves up. They countered off the bandit. They managed to get rid of them, use the fuse, and it looked really good. And they just lost out on gunfights. Cattle popped off at the flank around, and I think this is like a decent balance. I think
this is the thing. Like Kato falling was also massive the side of First Trap. Again, I really can't emphasize this enough. Like, Kato has been around the block, is one of those veteran players of the women's community for many, many years now. Literally, I think I was casting Kato doing women's tournaments about 9,000 years ago. That's how long it's been. And again, a really capable and competent player. Especially on that kind of role where it's like, hey, you're meant to be more of a supportive vibe maybe, but you're still willing to be assertive, be aggressive, and take those gunfights.
A little bit of early pressure here. Of course, who's on the other end of it? It's Cal, like you just highlighted. Veteran. SMG11 has claimed 3 lives so far in this game. I find another seriously is the one that's trying to aggress into position towards meeting and connector. EMP in the hand ready to help Jane get this wall open, but Hung is on the other side. It deals with the mute jammer, but unfortunately doesn't counter off the bandit. They do manage to get one of the exothermic charges off the board, so that leaves him a little bit short for the hard breach for now at least. They do still have the ace, of course they can rotate around in this IT side, but you want to double up in there and you know that you're going to lose maybe a couple of ace charges in this process, especially given that there is that Tubarao as well. Seriously, well shut down Kato in that engagement on the other side of the map, but Hung will just crack on here dealing with this IT breach. No pressure from below at the moment, it just seems to be very one-dimensional as they try to get this position cleared out here from Hung, but they're just going to eat up all of that hard breach nice and comfortably.
No EMPs left in pocket for Sanjaya. Basket Case is going to take out Seriously. Poor Seriously really not having a great time with these opening engagements thus far. Basket Case also looking for a second for that follow-up. Might get a bit freaky with it, might go to that doorway and try and get a little bit aggro. We'll see. Again, Adam and Bruce have done a good job at being patient, being a bit more passive, being a bit more cool, calm and collected, but so far this round it looks like they are being a little bit more freaky with it.
Certainly are. So connector is the main pressure point. The wall has it yet to be opened up, so they're going to have to funnel through this one doorway, but Cabby finds himself down and Mel's takes quite a bit of damage here. Jane just pushing and shoving their way into that position inside of connectors. Mel's is just waiting on the server wall, waiting for them to come through that doorway. The red pings are there, the ACOG in hand, it will spot them out if they swing around that corner. Takes quite a bit of damage here. Kitty continue to aggress here. Mel's is still playing close to the double swing, the nade as well to try and flush him at that position. Basket Case will find the double kill inside of this round, but it's just them and Hung together. So Hung decides to drop off C4 in pocket so they can utilise that. Whose name does it have on it? Can we find a target to remove from the round? They're not quite sure where they are, just unfortunately no info to act on and don't find anyone here. Nice shot here from Basket Case, so it's a triple kill in the round for them. Jess going for the plant though, where's the cover, tried to find it, beautiful quad for Basket Case, what a shot. They will be removed from the round eventually, but it's 1-0 left as Hung managed to pull it back from the brink. What a round from Basket Case though.
Goodness gracious me, what on earth did I just witness? Basket Case going absolutely nuclear there to clean up shop. Of course, Jess was able to clap them down at the last moment, but really was a case of close but no cigar. Admin abuse, the third round for them. Certainly definitely feeling themselves now. This is the thing, like, okay, it's definitely getting to the point where both sides decide to up the ante a little bit. The flow state is coming through.
Yep.
The early round aggression is certainly starting to come through a lot more as well. You've got the potential of bringing that massive overextension, the immediate overpeaking that Kato was going to attempt from the get-go, but I mean that was such a nice shot from Jess.
Yeah.
Very, very unfortunate that the trade was instantaneous on the side of admin abuse, but you know these 1vx's it's always difficult, right? Because you have to isolate into those 1 versus 1s, and if the team is willing to play maybe a bit more close together like that, the trade can come through so swiftly, especially when, you know, you've got things like the mirrors on site, you've got these really awkward angles you have to deal with. Such is the nature of Nighthaven Labs. This is why I love it so much.
Yeah, that's a great map. Invokes happiness in me. The Siege Brains do love it. It's like Clubhouse, you know. You know that you're going to get some sort of mini game somewhere, or someone try to open a wall, some sort of vert happening, and that's what we want. That's what we want. I don't want none of this border and just, you know, let's just send it in a window or a door and we get some kills. I don't want any of that. Seriously, here, they're potentially going to get themselves an engagement. Not quite aware that there is indeed a player lurking inside of that room. As they open up the window, we'll pull back here. It looks as though top down clear again. Same idea as before. We have the fuse in tow. I imagine that it will be used in pretty much the same form. I wonder if there's a pre-play C4 or anything ready for anyone that could wander in there. Not yet though. Quite a lot of vert. We have the sledge and the buck doubled up, so there's plenty to get your teeth into here, Grace.
Lulu. Speaking of getting into things, once again, beautiful use of this fuse all the way from the top of the building. A waterfall of these hockey clusters. The destruction behind them as well. Consider the fact that, you know, okay, there's 2 ADSs there. They can be removed very, very swiftly. Especially now that Skeleton Key is doing his thing as well.
Nice.
Chaos. And also the ability, too, to make sure that, okay, those hockey clusters are coming through. You're basically telling admin abuse, get away from this site. That gives so much more freedom to the players trying to open up that external, right? So they've got it open now, nice and swiftly. Didn't have to worry about anyone trying to trick or anything like that. Kitty taking out Cavi. That is a great start for first trap.
Certainly is. They shut them down on the flank. We still have Cattle to potentially worry about in the lounge though, roaming around in this middle of the map, of course with the SMG-11 in hand. Would we ever use any other gun? And you can hit the shots with highest fire rate gun in the game. So, position pretty good here for thirst trap. The wall is opened, and also I know it's mid-round, but can I just give a shout out to Owen, our observer, by the way, for catching all of that fuse action and then opening up the breach. Beautifully done on the free cam. I absolutely love it. Shout out to observers for bringing us all the great action. And 50 seconds though, and we've got a little bit of a stall action. I think they know Cato's out here, you know, Grace.
Potentially, again, Cato. Bringing these sneaky plays. It's not often you see one of these SAS operators wander away from the site, and you know what, I'm here for it. The element of surprise. Yeah. Seriously, new though, ready and waiting. That immediate trade to come through, a C4 trade and all. Really got to be mindful of your toesies here.
Certainly do. Mirror window will be dealt with here. Another fuse charge here just for good measure, just to cause chaos in that last few seconds where they go for the execute. Basket Case finds themselves down. Jane halfway through the defuse decides to come off it for just a second. Potentially not quite as safe as he thought, and he will get it down. The swing from the doorway. It's a C4! Oh my word! They can't get a defuse in time and they're going to win it! Oh, what a C4 to finish from Hung. Unbelievable!
Actual scenes here. Hung securing that round with the beautiful C4 to shut down that plan. Goodness me, first trap had it in the bag.
Oh my word.
So unfortunate there. So unfortunate, but plays from Hung.
Yep. This is... You know, I want to commend, of course, the individual plays that we've seen. Some of these rounds have been great. We've seen Cato in deciding rounds, Hung there yet again, Basket Case the round before that. It's one of those ones where it doesn't matter how much strategy and how well you clear the map. All it takes is one player to be in the right place at the right time to just make that correct decision. C4, if that goes early, they're able to get in that position and reclaim the defuse. So if they get rid of that, they still have the time. Because they waited for that second plant, the first one was a bit of a bait. Wait for the second one, and that means there's just no time for someone to get into that position to actually reclaim the defuse. And because they're on the hop up, you have to go for the vault, and there's just no time to actually finish it off. And beautifully done. And admin abuse here. They're 4-1 up here, but Grace, it could be way closer than this.
Absolutely. Especially given how that side switch can often go. Again,
oh my god.
The spiciness being brought from both sides now. Yeah, I can't get over that.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff just at the end. First cap must be absolutely fuming about that.
Exactly, because these attacks would be good.
That's one of those moments where you're absolutely fuming. You're like, I cannot believe that just happened. Or you're like, fair enough. I can't do that because fair enough. Speaking of fair enough, Kato once again with the aggression seriously is going to be taken out. Kitty looking to try and find an opener here. Could potentially take out Hung. Menace around the corner on that bandit. Hung is there, ready and waiting. Kissy's taken down. This is looking very good for admin abuse already. Limited time. It has passed, to be honest, and Jaire's there with the trade, though.
Yep, just tried to go for clear through IT. We've done it quite a few times, and I think the admin abuse were used to it here. Mel's is going to catch one out. Jane actually will find Cattle. Mel's knows there's a player there. I think that they're quite aware. I think Sinjaya knows there's a player. Well, now have received a rude awakening. First, they have quite a few shots into their side of their skirt. Jaya now trying to aggress onto that rapid position. It will be Mel's to come out on top here. Jess will not look too hot for HP, but at least wins the gunfight out in a 1-to-1 scenario as Cavi now tries to take up that position, reclaim the warehouse raptor. There is a drone comes through and spots that position here, but it's going to hold on this angle here. Jess's head just peeks out and it's removed from its shoulders. And a minute and 20 seconds on this clock. It's been a very fast round here, Grace.
Certainly has. Jane, 1 versus 2. Loads of time to work with, so she can go for the isolation. She just needs to remain cool, calm, and collected. Cool as a cucumber. Some of these bullets firing through the floorboards might give her a little bit of an inclination. That's okay. They're on side. She definitely would have heard that barricade go up too, so she at least knows one line of sight is potentially cut off. Again, mindfulness needs to be the key here. Making sure you don't get too bolshy with it. Limited information to go off of as well. Is where the pressure now coming through.
Just see the outline there. So just trying to think which angle to check there, but perspective is with the position there. The Echo drone shot out, so they know where they are though, and they spot them out basket case on the tight angle. Finish that one out. Admin abuse, they go 5-1 on the split.
Timeout at the end of the split. First Trap looking to up the ante for their defensive half by being like, okay, timeout, a little bit of a breather. That real moment of mental reset, talk about what we're going to do going forward. I mean, admin abuse have played this defense so well, starting really strong, playing passive, playing safe, and then it's almost like a penny dropped and Kato was like, well, fight you for it, quite literally.
I think it's a good read.
He started getting a lot more aggressive, started taking these opportunistic is how I'd regard that, to be honest.
I think it's a good read on the mental as well, because you, by all rights, win a round that you shouldn't win. Like, you know, that you know how comfortable First Trap looked. They look as if they were pretty much dead set going to take that round, and then they win it out of a C4 in the last 2 seconds. That's when you know that the meta is going to be difficult. So if there's a time to change the pace and get in the face of them and not give them a bit of comfort, that's the time to do it, and it works out beautifully. They just get a couple opening picks there, and Thirst Trap are a little bit rattled on that IT side. They take the time out. I think you highlighted it perfectly well. It's a good time just to chill out, regather mental, go into the next half. We still got an attacking round. We still played good siege. You know, there's not. I mean, they're going to look back at this VOD and go, "Oh, you know, it's just small things." You know, someone popped off in a round. Like, you can't really out strategize that, and sometimes that's just the way it is. But Nighthaven, I'm hoping to get a couple more rounds. I want a close game here. I want a little overtime action, Grace.
10 seconds left.
Cheeky bit of the OT action. Certainly think we all deserve that. I really just want to see the ferocity that I know is in both of these rosters really come through the point where, okay, maybe this is me just being a little bit spoiled right now, but say for example First Trap come on a little bit of a comeback here, and then we get maybe a cheeky bit of overtime. I think between these two, that would certainly make my day.
It would, it really would. I think the game deserves it, to be honest. I think the quality of siege we've seen has been really great. Cattle start things off aggressively, removes Kitty in the opening 30 seconds, and certainly not the start that Thirst Trap would have wanted. Cattle's already inside connector, sure. Just already there. Yeah, why not? Sure.
Oh, this could be quite spicy, actually. Cato looking for the follow-up. Seriously getting tanked up a little bit. There's all the flash going out. I have the sea view hightail out of there. Indeed, they have. But look at the aggression already coming through from Cato, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. She is my goat. Been around the block for such a long time. Certainly can get freaky with a bit of a sprain break there. Jane taking a lot of damage, but Jess is able to get Harvey. Cato is going to fall to the hands of Jane as well. Beautiful shutdowns from the J and J. Gruesome.
J squared. Some would like to call it. Look at this little bit of a Mexican standoff here as they swing around the corner. Doesn't check, unfortunately, doesn't realise that Jane has reclaimed that position inside Electrical, and Mel's will fall. Hung on the top floor here, still trying to aggress him towards IT. He knows that there could be someone that could peek out from that Rafters position. The basket case up against it, trying to funnel in through this doorway because they didn't get the breach open, and this is the thing. That little bit of early aggression, it does reward them that early position and that early pick, but they haven't worked for it. They haven't worked for that position connected. They haven't opened it up, so basket case will be forced to wade through this singular doorway, trying to face off against some of these angles.
Magnets ready.
Really strong. I love that first trap have decided, okay, let's be patient here. Let's just hold these angles, hold these crossfires. Let's not get greedy here. And again, it shows a lot of self-control there. And we feel the tension. There we go. Jess takes out basket case. Hung now left in a 1 versus 4. Has to try and isolate. Will they feed her? I don't think they will. Jane at least is taken out for now. Trade isn't coming either. Again, the patience from the side of first round. There we have it. Sanjaya is there. The long angle. That is a really good round from first trap. Again, the aggression at the start from Cato, the assertiveness, the willingness to take those entry engagements. That's exactly the spice I'm talking about. And this is why I really wanted to see a bit more back and forth between these two, the ferocity, the aggression. I think First Trap have really been behaving themselves, and at times I think that can be a bit of a detriment to them.
Attackers need to locate.
But certainly in the late round then, it was a benefit. Just being like, okay, breathe a second. Don't get too cheeky with it. Hold up. Let's not overextend. Let's just wait patiently now that we've got that player advantage, and certainly, hopefully going to bolster their energy a little bit now.
Filthy angle that. Make sure you get that used in the right games, I think. So I could see Jess in the hop up was like, yeah, this angle's going to be atrocious to try and push into, and unfortunately it does claim its life. Now, I like that from Jane as well, reclaiming Electrical. Lose that very early to Kato, their aggression. As soon as you deal with that aggression, you try to take the map control right back as quick as you can. Make sure that they have to work for it again and have to do something again, and that's what makes it difficult, because they didn't have the wall open and connector because they were relying on that early bit of aggression, and I think that you have to do that. I think that Kato's right to take that position early and get in their faces, because the half change, you've seen them take the time out, they want to try and kill the game a little bit, and you think, yeah, let's get a bit more aggression, let's try and bring a bit of pace here. Speaking of pace, very quick action here on the Animus breach here. Cavi and Mel's getting a little bit of work together to open us up using the Maverick here, but it's a bit of a rip of a ropey breach there. Have to try and tidy that up a little bit here. Jane just checking it on the pro angle, making sure that it's not fully opened as of yet.
Seriously, a lot of damage finally is taken out by basket case. Opening pick going in the favour of admin abuse.
Bomb located by
no clapback just yet from first trap, but once again, keeping a bit more passive, a bit more structured. Love the verticality that they're willing to utilise here. Gacy potentially working around these vertical holes. Jess awaits the approach here to Warehouse. But he has joined her. Maybe a bit of a position between these two. I love this too. A little bit of the mid-round interior design, shall we put it?
Just chilling out on the top floor, seeing if they can bring a few of these angles. Of course, they like to play themselves. Oh, very quickly in towards sight there. The red grenade will have to be towards Cavi and Hung standing right on top of each other. There's not much cover in that position. Surely they'll know. I think the call will be made that they got deep and got that diffuser down. Of course, now the sound will give that away. But there's two players right on top of each other. 1C4, and they could be right out of this round. And R2 in the pocket of the defence. The time is a ticking. The Z4 goes deep. Will it find its mark? It finds one, but the reposition here from Cavi manages to save them, but can't save them from the gun of Jane, who finds a massive double here. Can they find the third? Sees the window and ahead for a second. Cattle will shut down Kitty. Jesco and Jane, the J squared together, try and join together to get this round back from the brink here. 12 seconds on the clock. They have to get to that defuse as quick as possible, but they'll find themselves dead and out of the round. Nice little attack there, swinging from Animus and get that defuse down.
I think that's the difficulty, using the throwable utility, shutting down a lot of those players to try and go for that retake, but you just need the time pushing together to try and find those players who have then fallen back. A little bit of assertiveness needed there towards the end there. J Squared unfortunately unable to secure it at the end, but still doing a very good job, still an admirable attempt, and admin abuse. Good for them for getting in and focusing the objective, right? Focusing those plants. Vegan blood is flowing now. It's just a bullshitness of Cadby as well. Cadby and Kato have been absolutely on some freaky nonsense, and I'm here for it. I love the willingness from them, but that's what you want from them, these entry engagements, That's what you want to see. You want to see them be like, I'm gonna take this fight seriously, it's my job.
Yeah, exactly. I love that though. It's like one of those ones where you make that mistake. You cross into a position that you probably didn't mean to cross into, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like Kavi just stepped right onto the diffuser position. They're like, wait, I can't go anywhere here. This is going to be difficult. Managed to get out of position. They do die, but they win the round out anyway. It was a nice little attack there from admin abuse. They realised that how overextended Thirst Trap were on that top floor. Still quite a few members off site, and they realised, yeah, we can just send it in here and get this quick plant down, so you can steal this round out. And that's what you want from the bottom floor, to get how difficult that can actually be to attack. They'll stand things off, reattempt on that bottom floor. We'll be heading down there again. Same idea here, nade in hand as Kavi and Meld work together to open up this Animus wall. Not quite able to get the electrification off it as of yet here. Kavi could be in a dangerous position. He doesn't realise how exposed they actually are. The Maverick has actually opened up an angle a little bit lower than they were perhaps expecting. Kavi will quite a bit of damage, and the flashbangs come through just to displace Sanjaya for this a moment. But it wasn't open yet, Grace.
Absolutely not. Bit of difficulty here. Kirby Mills is going to finally get the rest of it open. Cali getting that opener, but is immediately traded out by Seriously. Good stuff there from the side of First Trap. Upping the ante, keeping their toes.
I love this double-pronged little buddy system that's going on the top floor. The two of them just roaming around together, going on the hunt for any would-be aggressors on the attacking side. They shut down Kato on their own, and the other four members were actually outside at the time, so Kato was on their lonesome, presumably being droned. But Basket Case is just inside of sight. Sure, why not? Jane's dead, and they're going to find themselves another one. Mel's will find Sanjaya, and the two roamers that I mentioned, they are in, unfortunately, no man's land for now. They're going to be caught out on the hatch as well. Basket Case in a covering angle. It's a triple kill from them. I have no idea what point they actually entered from. Kitty tries to find something through the vertical angle, but the defuse is down. There's now only going to be 45 seconds between Kitty and potentially a clutch or leaving this game with a loss. Finds a vertical angle. It's a trade, but unfortunately that means it goes by way of the attack. And admin abuse, they take the second map of the day. Nighthaven 7-2.
7-2, that's an incredible scoreline to come out with for that side as well. It also gives them the nice, comfortable 3 points. That's going to shoot them up in the leaderboard as well.
Oh, I love that from Kato, just in the chat there at the end. You guys were rolling up on me because they were the double up on the roam there. They shut down Kato, but again, Basket Case, similar to the last time they attacked that round, they just went for when they realised that there was quite a few players outside of the site and potentially going for a bit of a roam game. They were like, yeah, there's not a lot of people here, let's just send it in and see if we can get something. I didn't even spot where Basket Case actually entered in from. I think it was potentially a hatch drop into EXO is potentially how they did it, but beautifully done. Nice change of pace, and it works out for them. And then 7-2 in favour of admin abuse, and I think the game could have been closer. I think Thirst Trap will be a little bit saddened at that result, just because some of those early rounds looked really, really good in that attack. And I think though, once you lose a few of those rounds where you're like, oh, we had everything together there, it's really kind of chalks the mental up, and maybe that's what happened. But it's a great game.
I just feel like I really wish that First Strap would have called the timeout in that first half, you know, a lot sooner, not just have it at that side switch. I think they could have maybe brushed themselves off a little bit and gone for maybe just a few more cheeky pocket strats or something like that. And it would have been a lot closer. I feel like I just wanted to see that overtime between these two, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very fun to see. Realistically, though, again, like, the way that admin abuse have played this season has been really, really good. Again, loads of veteran experience there. And, of course, you have veteran experience on the side of First Strap. You just want to see it shine a little bit more, especially in these last 2 weeks. And, again, I don't think, you're right, like, that round differential doesn't really touch on what really has happened here. It's one of those cases where it is what it is, you know? And, again, you do have some of these players on the side of admin abuse who are going to be a little bit freaky with it and are going to go for these very aggressive pushes suddenly when, realistically, you wouldn't normally expect it. Again, Kato, I cannot stop singing her praises ever. Again, a player that's been around for so long now, and it's such a pleasure to watch her perform. And, she wasn't even the top performer on the side of admin abuse towards the end of that, right? And even though, Basket K is going absolutely nuclear time after time again. And that's the stuff that you really want to see, and the stuff that you want to see happen even going forward now. One more game, though, to go, Sham. One more game to go for this evening.
Yes, we do indeed have one more game, and we will go to a very short break before we bring that to you. It will indeed be Cinta Negra Girls versus Silly Slinkies, which is a bit of a tongue twister for my accent, but we'll get through it, I imagine. Don't go anywhere, we'll see you shortly. Ta-ta. Hello and welcome back to Project Harmony Season 2, play area number 6 of the group stages. I'm Chamberlain, I'm joined once again by Grace, and we are live for what's going to be the third and final game of tonight. It'll be Cinta Negra versus Silly Slinkies, and both of those names have absolutely... I've butchered them time and time again in the voice calls before this, but I think I got them. A little bit.
I kind of stand the name Silly Slinkies, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I feel like that's a bit of me. That's a bit of me.
It's a great name. Unfortunately, my accent just doesn't suit it. But anyway, Grace, how are you feeling about this? Of course, we've got the standings just in front of us. A couple of games already transpired. Girls on Fire and Silly Slinkies right at the top there. This will be Silly Slinkies' last attempt, by the way. They don't have a game next week, so they have to close this one out tonight. If they get themselves onto 18 points, then it's just basically Girls on Fire, and it's basically in Girls on Fire's ballpark. They just have to win next week and they could top the league. So Silly Slinkies, they just want to try and lock this one out before they do anything. But Grace, we've spoke about it a few times. I think the real fun factor is this Cinta Negra area of the standings. Meep and Wildcard Queens, they're all quite close to that kind of they're going for like a bit of a tussle between that kind of fourth spot. And if Cinta Negra were to lose, that means that next week we have a very spicy ending.
I think it's also, for example, when it comes to this matchup in particular, we could argue, yes, Silly Slinkies are arguably one of the strongest teams in the league, if not the strongest, especially in terms of, again, veteran experience.
Oh, yes.
This really has been a common theme throughout this tournament with a majority of these rosters. But again, you look at the Silly Slinkies roster, there's not a single name there where you're like, who? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many iconic women in the community, and it's like, okay, I see you. You've clearly cooked here as well. They're working so well as a roster together. And of course, on the side of Cinta Negra, it's this idea of, okay, you're backed up against a wall a little bit. What do you have to lose here? Nothing. Fight everything. Fight tooth and nail. Throw everything and the kitchen sink at Silly Slinkies and see how adaptable they truly are. And of course, on Silly Slinkies, we are going to highlight Marmalade, icon in her own right.
Yeah.
And of course, 84.4% cost, which is just music to my ears, especially when that's not even a plant kind of statistic really there for her. Speaking of plants though, Lucy, on the other hand, for Cinta Negra, 5 plants, so that is decent levels of veganism.
Yeah, we've spoken for a few times. The vegan joke comes around every single time. We see it all the time. 5 plants is a great statistic here. None of that though for Valky. No plants for them. They are solely here to kill. 1.09 kills per round. Almost a kill per round, which is what you want to see. Evens or positive is ideal, especially on your Ash players. 90% cost as well. It's always a nice little treat to get as close to that 100% as possible. Yes, that's nice. That's nice.
90%. Woo! Burning my fingertips just even existing near a statistic like that.
Listen, I had to go a little bit lower because we had 100% before. The game before was 100%, so I couldn't go too crazy with it. But map bans, we get something slightly different, which I'm both thankful for and not thankful for, because I was enjoying the Nighthaven shenanigans where we're getting up to Grace. This time, though, we're heading to Clubhouse, standard and straightforward stuff. We've been here 100 million times. Everybody knows how it works. It's always a delight, though. Clubhouse is my favourite map in the pool. It's my favourite map in Siege. If I ever want to recommend to watch any game, it's Clubhouse, because there's plenty of action. There's always mini games going on and droning, and you actually get to see Siege is what you get to see, though. Bans coming right up, though, as we head into the game, and the first one off the board is Ying, first of the night, Grace.
The first Ying ban of the night. I was wondering when it was going to happen. Of course, these are El Clasico bans at the moment. It is your Ying, it is your Doka, unless people want to go into that kind of old school hard breach shenanigans. One thing that's actually interesting to note is that last time City Slinkies went to Clubhouse, it was a 6-8 loss. They actually lost it on overtime to First Trap. So again, when you look at those rosters, both sides, a lot of veteran experience. Of course, one being majority NA, one being majority EU. But the fact that on that even Stevens playing field it got that close, and then for it to slip away from City Slinkies in overtime, that must have been really Jimmy Russelling for them, I reckon. And this is where they can really set the ante, right? They're going to be on that attack to begin with. They need to hit it hard. The bans from them have been very standard. The Thatcher, of course, it's a golden oldie. The Fenrir as well, very standard at the moment. Cinta, Negra have the opportunity to be a bit spicy here, but most likely it will be another default vibe, I reckon. The Kaid, of course, there we go. So again, at Clubhouse, I like to call it the Ploughman's Sandwich, which is a sandwich, but you always know what's going to be in it. It's going to be a bit of lettuce, a bit of tomato, and a bit of cheese. And that pretty much is the vibe you get with Clubhouse. You know what to expect. Every single team, when they start to scrim, is always going to do so much Clubhouse. Every single day at Clubhouse, there's always a Clubhouse. Production atting me slightly. What is it with me and food? Maybe I'm just hungry. Maybe you need to start giving me additional rations of food before I get on the broadcast. But otherwise,
we don't have the budget for that.
This could be quite spicy one, because again, when you have something like these even Stevens playing field champ, this is the thing people to remember. Yes, there's a lot of kind of standardization across what kind of operators people are going to bring to the table, but it gives you the opportunity to be a little bit freakier with some pocket scraps as time progresses, and also gives you the opportunity to play around the positions a little bit differently as well. You know what to expect, but what you don't expect is, for example, someone ratting it from that entry point. You know, they're kind of playing around those rat angles, especially with the Solus in play. Demon Lee will be there on the Solus, so has the opportunity to work out where that entry point is coming from. You can shut it down nice and early if they get a little bit aggressive with it.
Yeah, kind of funky picks here. A little bit of vigil action as well from Lily. Potentially going to cause a bit of a nuisance. Got a spread as well, of course, the Legion on the top floor as well. Just making sure to make it as difficult as possible to get some of this map control, and Lily playing around this cash position, making it difficult to fight for a lot of this map. Now, Packers, though, need to make some decisions where they want to push from. They have the Bravo of Goddess entering the building already in towards that strip club area, and you could actually catch someone out here. You can hear the buzzing of the phone. It is, yet again, another SS roamer in that middle floor inside the bar. We got used to this in the last game, and I feel like we're going to get a little bit of action like this time as well. Ivy, though, knows that there is a player inside of there. They do have the yellow pings coming through and a couple of bits of information fed back. There is a goo mine that comes down through the hatch. What a shot that is there from Lindsay, though. Takes the head of Ivy right off his shoulder to start things off with the opening pick on this final map.
Lulu. No immediate clap back just yet from City Slinkies. Looks like they were going to try and attempt that pressure around the kitchen. One thing that's quite curious, actually, of course we have that basic approach, is the kind of old school reliance here. We're bringing up that pluck and the skeleton key. We're not bringing the ram to the table, and I find that kind of curious because, of course, right now they're aware of the pressure from below, so they don't want to get stuck into corridor. They want to get stuck into kitchen. They're going for a blue drop, it looks like. Applying the pressure there. Lindsay is going to get taken out. Goddess up in the ante. Mari looking to get a little bit freaky with it. Looks like that pistol is out there. No, it's not. There we go. Gets one, is immediately traded. Goddess gets one too. Only 2 versus 3 here. Cass and Demonly. Cass needs to get back to side. Things are starting to heat up just a little bit, and you don't want to leave too much breathing space here. Demonly holding on their life, battering down the hatches, gets taken down. A very uncomfortable retake Cost now has to do. They have the side control. Toxic is going to go out, but that's going to cause a little bit of a distraction. And there we have it. Beautiful stuff there coming from the side of Silly Slinkies. And what a hyper-aggressive start to what could be a very spicy attacking half.
Yeah, just a take they're not quite ready for. A blue take, taking it out. You know, we've seen a lot of different iterations of Clubhouse. Right now, by far the most popular is the kitchen take. Drop the hatch. Maybe an Osa plant. Well, that's what we're seeing a lot of the time. Church has been on the rise as well, so a bit of blue action is always nice, and it does work out in their favour. The opening pick did go by way of the defenders, but they're just not able to convert that into a round win, unfortunately. But it was a great attack, good bit of coordination as well. Goddess leading the line to get a pick back as quick as possible. But Vanix here got a bit unfortunate there. Could have finished off every there just as they move around the back of that generator. And unfortunately, they actually lose their life because they're not quite ready for them to be in that position, and that there could have been a game changer. It's the other way around. It's a 3-4 scenario the other way. They did get the refrag at the very least, but then it was all chaos, and there was 2 players off site from there. Managed to snowball into a round win, Silly Slinkies.
Attackers recovered the ball.
That's the fact that Melty Melly is currently playing under the tag Kate Oscar, which is a slightly triggering. You leave Oscar alone. An elbow. Cinta Negra needs to hold on and bring the rounds back in favour. Of course, only 1 round so far, falling in the side of Silly Slinkies and upping the ante, using that aggression. They did a really good job of cutting off the attempts around Kitchen. But ultimately, when it came to that aggressive drop from Blue, they couldn't quite get it over the mark. Already looks like Silly Slinky is starting to open up these wall sides. An early cons wall is going to be open very swiftly. I assume that this wall of Jacuzzi will open very quickly too, and that's going to give them the beautiful line of sight. Start to cut off that rotation from logistics as well. Little bit of the old Maverick torch as well, just to try and keep the Nyx off her toes. Cost will take out Ivy. Unfortunately, Ivy not having a good time the last 2 rounds on these entry engagements, but at least can give a call out from that.
Pressure from Logistics Hatch does come to fruition in the form of Marmalade dropping right through the proximity alarm, so that will have announced their position. We're just going to wait though, see if anyone comes through the rotate through and maybe forgets that that's actually went off. Demonly is also rotated into construction, joined by Vayne at the same time. We'll drop that hatch and go for a rotate round down below, C4 in pocket, so we'll like to play off some of this vertical play inside. Yeah, look at this. This should be yellow. Ooh, I was going to say it should be in the great position, but they're not quite expecting Marmalade to be sat so far back. Unfortunately, C4 will not find anything from it. Flashbangs come through as he started streaming through the breach of the Demonly. Will shut down Marmalade inside of Logistics. They still had that information and kept that in the back of their mind. They must convert that into a kill. Goddess leading the charge through towards the top of that main staircase. He also will find Goss. 3 versus 4 scenario and now a minute left to work with.
Mari. Ellie holding on. Approach that could try and shut down what's being attempted on the side. As a matter, Demonly is very ready and waiting, can take out Mari. Melly's going to have to try and find the refrag. Knows vaguely where they might be, can't quite get it. Demonly is there. As Cinta Negra round back in their favour. This could start to get a little bit back and forth.
That's what we want for the final game. You know, we've had a few games that have been a bit one-sided. To be fair, they're getting a bit closer as the night goes on. So we'll finally get a fabled overtime. I'm hoping for it. It's a bit later here for us than other regions, but I'm excited for it, Grace. I've got Saturday night fever. You know, I'm ready for a party. I'm hoping that this is going to go the full distance. But one apiece. course, after a gym bedroom here, and I like the aggression that the attack brought there, trying to get in their faces, but it just didn't quite work out there. They had the defense had the information on where they were kind of posted up, and Marmalade had been kind of one of the main victims of that, and they knew that there was players in logistics after that proximity alarm. It just shows you, some of those secondary gadgets, they do have quite a bit of value there, and that one little ping is enough to just have it in the mind that, yeah, there's a player inside the logistics.
10 seconds left before
This is where things could get very interesting indeed. CCTV is one of those sites where, again, everyone knows roughly what kind of vibe you need to go for here. You need to open up that breach wall very, very quickly. You need to start to apply that rafters pressure. That often can be quite difficult because usually the person playing on rafters, there might be something like a magnet, for example, to kind of support them. Of course, you've got the key barriers as well. However, in the case of Cinta and Negra right now, they've got the Azami, but no magnet. So I assume there might be a bit of a duo play around rafters, just to give it a little bit more protection around that R2 area.
attackers have located a bomb.
I wonder if that will be the case. From that Maverick action here early on after the Goddess, so make sure you get that wall opened up nice and early. Managed to do just that in just a second. First line has been made as Ivy hopefully manages to remain in this line a bit longer. Goddess has found themselves down, presumably through the holes that they've made in that wall. Not quite out of the conversation yet as Ivy just pushes up to that CCTV window just to make sure they can cover off anyone that could potentially be crossing or want to get aggressive onto those holes that have been made by the Maverick, who will be now recovered. Goddess back up on her feet as Lindsay now repeats round construction.
No blood being spilled as we edge closer and closer to that halfway mark. Of course, as well, still in a very strong and powerful position here. The City Slinkies, we maybe need that additional angled approach. Looks like they're not really going to push towards Garage. They're going to go for the Logi push instead. Beautiful stuff there, Mama. Taking out Lindsay. That's a good opener. That's a good start. Again, gives them the freedom, gives them flexibility to now set up that dimension from the bedroom, gym, and construction area. If they can get that wall open nice and swiftly. Although saying that, there aren't any sounds left. Those walls have already been opened, it would appear.
Yeah.
They need to up the ante and start to make this approach realistically. I think CCTV wall looks like it's closed actually, so... Oh no, it's indeed open.
Yes, it is indeed. Looking a bit messy, but it is open. Koss will find Millie. Evenly hits the deck, waiting for someone to come in that cache doorway. They haven't opened up the cache wall yet, and they won't be able to do it unless they bring that Mav around, so they're going to have to funnel in that doorway if they want to go for a cache execute. They're not at the top of the red staircase awaiting anyone that could send themselves in that position. Ivy, though, pushes in the window and finds one, but it's immediately fragged back. 3 versus 2. 30 seconds to work with as well. Two players enter in from construction and into cache. Marmalade finds himself down. There's still a player out on the breach. You have to be careful here, Vane. Be wary of it. Lily's locked in position inside of Rafters, being held from the breach. They have a yellow ping. They're going to swing and get aggressive, though. It's actually a 1 versus 1 as Mari has to try and go for the plant here. Only 8 seconds on the clock, and they will be able to get it down successfully. It is a Solace who has now decided to enter into server. They have a red ping and they have the information. Mari gets himself out of dodge, but Marmalade's in an awful position to get them back on their feet. Do they risk it for a chocolate biscuit, though, Grace? 30 seconds as Marmalade is just going to be lying there. It's basically just bait at this point. Left in that position will eventually die. A double kill for Vane. And Lily waiting and trying to see if Mari's going to make the mistake of getting a bit aggressive. Baits one plant. Mari's not going to show too much. SMG-12 in it. They're going to pop their head up for a second. Lily knows they have to get them aggressive, try and take this position, get into construction, goes out for the swing, and won't come out the top. It's Mari that pulls it back. Beautifully done. Silly Slinkies, they'll find themselves their second attack.
Gorgeous stuff on Mari. Okay, I'm running out of time. I've got to focus this plan, get it down, force that timer in my favour. We touched on this earlier. Timer is the 6th defender until you get that plant down. Then everything flips on its head. The pressure is on those remaining defenders. Really, really well placed, to be honest, there. Of course, there was a bit of a wilchy-wochy moment about Mari potentially going for the res there, but ultimately, you don't really need to. It could have been used as a nice bit of bait if you wanted to see if the player would over-aggress there. But otherwise, played really, really well. Mari played that so smartly.
Yeah. really well. This sort of ping, by the way, from Marmalade, the yellow ping, and they know just from memory of how high to aim, where they're going to be coming out from behind those like little planks inside construction. Yeah, it was beautifully done. Ivy got a bit aggressive as well, just hopping on that window which is spotted in the middle of the round, and it looked like it could have went either way at that point. But Mari there manages to get a clutch up there technically because a couple of players downed, and it was nicely done there, I guess, wasn't it?
Maybe. Again, the fact that City Slinkys already at that kind of 2-round mark when it's on this attacking approach, given again, we can often talk about how maps are attacker or defender sided, due to the way that, the current meta is with a lot of operators. Obviously, we do have a very strong defensive side, but Clubhouse in particular, it's always been a little bit more defender-sided. City Slinkies can even get to even now, to be honest, it's still a very powerful position to be in, but that maybe 3-round mark, a free split would be so good for them, but realistically they could probably push it a little bit further. And again, Cinta Negra, this is where I was talking about earlier. I want to see them throw everything and the kitchen sink at the side of City Slinkies. See how much their adaptability can work under pressure. Go for some of these pocket strats. Go for something a little bit out of the pocket, out of the box. Again, this is where the rat plays really can come up front.
Zami Barricade being the difference there between Demonly losing their head and Goddess getting the first pick. And you get the hop up and they're dancing around that position, but Goddess is just going to wait and game, patiently hanging on to that door, waiting for them to aggress. What a position and change that was from Demonly. The Goddess is aware of it, removes them from the round, and they want to try and funnel in from this dark position. Another player just takes up the position that's just previously been vacated. The Goddess has went deep to go for this plant and hasn't quite decided where they want to throw it down yet. 2 versus 4. Lindsay now left with it all to do, rotating back to site. It's completely fallen apart here for the defence. Lindsay's in a decent position to at least get one back. Marmalade falls. Goddess in the middle of the plant, but can't quite find another one as Ivy gets aggressive down the main hall, finishes up the round, and that's another attacker round put up on the board for Silly Slinkies.
Gorgeous stuff indeed from the side of Silly Slinkies. It's like what I'm talking about. You get to that at minimum right now. Silly Slinkies on a free attacking half on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
You don't want to jinx it. You don't want to call it too early, but this is such a powerful position for them to be in right now. And they themselves, they're not going for any of these cheeky little pocket straps. They're not going for anything outside the box. I love the fact as well, I just want to touch this quickly. You know how that first round of defense, we were like, okay, they're struggling a bit with that 30, maybe they should have taken the ram instead of relying on a skeleton key. That's exactly what they did this time. They decide, okay, we'll change it up, we'll adapt. This is what I'm talking about. It's the adaptability, the quick thinking, the deep comp knowledge on the side of this roster to know, okay, yeah, we should take the ram actually. Ultimately, it did come down to the gunfights though. They were able to divide and conquer very swiftly. The cleanup came through so smoothly. And this is insane stuff for them. But again, I feel like I'm tooting their horn so much. But I expect it from them.
Yeah.
This is arguably one of the best female rosters, globally right now. And there's so much experience there. There's so much knowledge. There's so much depth of knowledge. So much raw skill as well. And I'd be worried, I'd be concerned if they weren't, sailing through it right now on this attack.
Yeah. I am, however, going to be equal parts critical as I am, not critical, on the defence here for Cinta Negra. They recognised that the roam game wasn't quite working. They were getting punished for it. The Silly Slinkies were just finding the gap and going, yeah, we're going to just go straight in here. They've changed it now. They've changed the roster. They've changed the operator picks around. They've dropped the Vigil. They've dropped the Val. Now they're just going to play pretty much a 5-person turtle on site. They're just going to chill out and wait and invite the pressure here. And this has slowed the round down significantly this time. Silly Slinkies have to think about it a little bit more. Yes, they have a bit more map control. They can be a bit more comfortable with that, but they can't quite do the same as what they've done the last 2 times, which has been quick. Right down the dirt push or right down blue and see what they've done. But Marmalade, doesn't matter what I say, they're not listening to me. They're going to get right in amongst it. She just pushes in, takes Lindsay off, looking for a second there. The aggression does come out from the defence this time, and it comes out from the attack at the same time as he just continue just to stream into sight. There's only one member left alive again, Grace. This is seeming like a story that's just written every single time we're on this bottom floor.
Absolutely, planet is going down. Lily has to try and shut it down, but look how many angles could potentially be held here. Doesn't matter. Goes for a spray and pray against Marmalade, and she claps back. She gets her one. Silly Slinkies, absolutely dominating right now.
Certainly are. Just bringing the aggression. That's it. They're just absolutely overpowering the defense. Cinta Negra just can't deal with it at all. They change it. They change their strat, and I commend them for doing that. They went for quite a bit of an extension in the last few rounds on the site. This time they decide, yeah, we're going to be a bit more reserved. They're only going to have the one member off site. Everyone else is going to kind of play a bit more passive, but they still peek into them. They still get punished for it, and sometimes that's just the way these games go. Sometimes you just can't deal with the aggression. They take the time out. They take a bit of a second just to kind of regather themselves and maybe some discussions here and see if they can come up with something, because they're going to need something on this defense here.
Gorgeous stuff indeed to see. And again, this is the roster, I believe, that actually won the last season of Project Harmony. And given where they are on the scoreboard right now, on the table, they're at that number one position. It looks like, again, you don't want to count your chickens before they've hatched, but a bit of Deimos coming out.
Yeah, with the Blitz combination. this is sinister intentions here.
I'm here for it. I want it. I want the blood. I want the violence. Bring it on. Bring it to me right now. Again, talk of dominance. What other way to really send a message than your final attacking round when you're already 4-1 up on the attacking half? Meant to go for a cheeky little pocket strat. Production having left on top places to be.
Yeah.
Let's get stuck in. Let's go for that aggressive pocket. Of course, you know, the way that the information can be gained very, very swiftly, very quickly by Goddess, you would assume that Melly will come sailing through on that blitz as well.
5 seconds to go.
Try and clean up shop. Vidokabi is being re-picked up. You know what? I'm slightly upset about that. I thought, Vidokabi is the final nail in the coffin there, but they were like, do you know what? This is enough information, I reckon. Let's bring out that vertical that we have to get the skeleton key potentially here as well, because, you know, we could just send Ivy below and they can start working that magic of the skeleton key, start to get some of those toesies down.
Yeah.
Especially if we're able to get in very swiftly, clean up shop very swiftly, and get that plant down very swiftly. And it looks like that is what the attempt is going to be. The secondary hard breach and the exoferment opening things up very swiftly. This could be bad for Banix, but so can she gun it down? Mari gets taken out. There it is. Goddess is one as well. The pistol whip to the face as though Melly is there. Second one there too. Oh my, apple pie. 4 versus 2 already, and not even a minute has passed.
No breach denial whatsoever. They're able to get it for free, and they continue this aggressive play. They have that's it. It's pretty much going to be a wash here as cost now in a 1 versus 3 scenario, and they have Deimos as well. What shot that is from Goddess, by the way. She takes the head right off. Not interested in staying in this ever much longer. Wow. Unbelievable aggression here from silly Slinkies, and I think production hit the nail on the head there. Marm has got places to be. That is a lightning quick round, but as much as I want to give commendations to silly Slinkies and how aggressive they've been, the defense, I think they do need to have a little bit of action on that wall. I think they do need to have a little bit of denial, something to not just let them have it for free. They could bring the frost as well, because the last time they were punished because Ivy hopped in that window, so there was a little bit of counter strike going on there, and I think maybe potentially silly Slinkies had anticipated that and were just like, yeah, we're just going to bring aggression here and get in their faces and see if they can deal with it. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more denial, maybe a Goyo, maybe a Legion, just something to slow them down, because it's no secret that silly Slinkies are just going to get right in your face and just throw a train at you and see if you can deal with it. So far, Cinta Negra haven't been able to deal with it.
To be fair, can you imagine if Banix was able to shut down Melly, though? That could have been...
I think the strange thing for me is that the frost, I can't remember who it was on the other side of the breach and killed the person on the breach, but didn't kill the blitz running past them with their back to them.
That's what I mean, though. That's what I mean. Yeah, because Banix was playing on the frost on that breach, and if they weren't able, if they were able to shut down Melly on that blitz, and then unfortunately not getting caught off guard by Goddess there on the Deimos. That could have bit different round potentially, but again, for City Slinkies, there's a 5-1 attacking half. They are laughing right now, surely. I'm surprised that we're not seeing them fall out of every window known to existence right now. That hyper-aggression, I thought maybe we'll see that come through. They're actually being quite sensible considering things. And a nice spread out position. Really looking to bait Cinta Negra into a full roam clear, which could whittle down the timer more and more.
There's of course a bottom floor defense. Top floor is in control of the attack from now. As like you highlighted, it's actually been relatively chill. Slinky's just happy to just wait, invite it, let the time do the talking, and see if Cinta Negra can crack this defense open. Have the Solace as well in the hands of Marmalade that can give away some of the positions of these drones and potentially allude to where they are going to begin prod and defense and try and get into sight, but just chilling, just being chilling, not really interested in moving at all, really, Slinkies.
I mean, it's the thing, they're in a power position, right? They can play it as aggressive or passive as they want. Of course, it looks like they're being a bit more passive now. They pull back, they decide, okay, time to anchor a bit. Time to pull our way back. Of course, so much information now from Marmalade to gain on that spec. Waiting for more X cards to come out, a little bit of the old impact tricking. Just going to keep that patch relatively snug, relatively close. I think that might have a bit of it though. Yeah. And the ram doing its work. Koss has sent out that ram. Buggy, and that's going to give a lot of vertical pressure, of course. From the safety position, you don't have to worry about things appearing at your feet, about bullets, about C4s, even nades in this case, so I think the majority of the nades were used for the impact tricking. It looks like Nelly as well looking to get aggressive in Moto, which could be quite spicy. If Cinta Negra aren't able to drone that, if they're not able to clock the fact that Nelly is there around the corner, sneaky like, if they leave it too little, if they run out of time, they're going to get shut down so quickly by her.
Still got the smokes as well to deny that drop at the same time. Ivy will open things up. It will be Lily to fall first, and it is in the hands of the defence here. Have just ran down the time all the way down to 10 seconds. Look at Ivy again. Catches one not looking the right way, and it's all falling apart here for the attack. Time is of the essence. They're not going to have time to do much with it. Silly Slinkies, they put a 6-1 up here on Clubhouse, and it's looking like a commanding performance from them.
Absolutely. Match point. And more importantly, again, you know, that is, if they take it now, if they take it 7-1, that's a good 3 points to keep them at the top of that leaderboard going into next weekend's final game, I believe. So that is a strong position for them to be in right now. My heart breaks slightly for Cinta Negra. I really thought, okay, this is their time to really up the ante, to start to get cheeky with it, to bring out some ratty plays, to bring out some pocket strats. I mean, ooh, speaking of which, I know we're going to see the V-pick onto the ace, but we do have the oath there, we have the send, so there's a lot of safety first aspects here, a lot of utility to cover for that plant. Actually, now I'm saying, of course, Moss is going to re-pick onto the Havana, but still, they've got that oath there, they've got those talon shields, which are going to allow them a little bit more bang there, but it's going to give them maybe a bit more safety first aspects. If they can force the objective here, maybe they can win out the post-EP.
The post-AP, 3 games in. I'm surprised it took you that long to drop your infamous line. At this point,
I've been trying to behave myself.
Hey, listen, great branding, that's what it is. You know, come up with your own slogans, you know? That's what you want. Post-AP, a Grace V post-AP. Anyway, we're not on a post-AP as of yet. 10 seconds into the round, we have started things off. I imagine that we'll see a change of pace here. I have a feeling, just a little hunch, Grace, that there might be a little bit of silliness up the hands of Slinkies here. Then again, they're kind of behaving themselves, and I'm just so surprised that they are.
That's the thing, right? And it really, in a way, shows an element of stoicism, I'll say. Because they're willing to just be like, okay, well, we're not going to get silly sausages here. We're not going to start jumping out of windows, ego peeking. All open nice and swiftly, though. Again, Lindsay will have those hand shields, but this is slightly precarious. You see Ivy trapped in the corner on a little Kiba barrier.
Stunning.
This could be dangerous, dangerous, lemon dangerous if that castle barricade from the Jacuzzi Breach gets opened. Goddess has shut down Lindsay.
Oh, wow.
Phoenix is going to fall too. This is not great to start with for the side of Cinta Negra. Again, they really desperately need to claw back at least one round to get the wind under their sails. They had so much util here. The Oath has gone. Those talent shields I talked about that could have covered if they tried to force the objective, completely gone now. The bees are going out just to make sure there's a little bit of clearance or a little bit of information as well.
They have at least been able to clear out construction, not quite got a hold of logistics though, so they have at least sweep that side of the map. Wall, of course, is open on hot tub side, so we've got at least a decent bit of work done here. Demon gets aggressive, Goddess finds himself a triple kill, Demon's going to look away at the potentially the wrong time, at least getting himself a pick for it, as Lily takes up position inside of Cash, awaiting anyone that could swing onto that bed inside of Master. There's a minute now left. Goddess is on a heater right now, a quad on what could be the final round. Lily is, I imagine, probably going to be in the receiving end of some bullets straight to the face from Goddess and quite a lot of players. Yes, it is Goddess with the ace to finish it off. Beautifully done, clean and crisp. They maintain their position at the top of the league. They don't have a game next week, so it's all in the hands of Girls on Fire whether they can displace silly Slinkies in that game in hand. For now, Goddess is the MVP with the ace at the end, and they will be happy with that performance. 7-1 on Clubhouse.
Absolutely. Silly Slinkies, more like superior Slinkies. The way that they absolutely dominated that attacking round in particular. And of course, going on to the defence, it was always going to feel a bit awkward for Cinta Negra, who really struggled, unfortunately, to get those rounds on the table. I really wish they went a little bit more ratty with it on the defence. I really think that sometimes when you're playing against a strong team like that, you need to just think outside the box a bit. Again, like I touched on, throw everything in the kitchen sink at them. Try and really push them, get them on the ropes, work out, okay, maybe we can really, really test their adaptability here. I just think on the side of Silly Slinkies, again, it's a very gold standard roster when you look at those players. So a very good experience, to be honest, for the side of Cinta Negra. But for Silly Slinkies, that has pretty much secured their maintaining position at the top of the leaderboard. And of course, next weekend, they'll be looking to probably to win it again. But they can have some breathing space now, Sham, and that's really important.
Yeah, they certainly can. And as much as I'm, sad for Cinta Negra losing that one out in convincing fashion, I am also a little bit kind of happy because it does give us a wrestling match to decide who's actually going to go through to the playoffs. Because next week you've got Meep versus Thirst Trap, are going to be fighting over that fourth position. You've got Cinta Negra, who could upset Girls on Fire. Could happen if you throw the standings up real quick, and you're going to have just a glance over them. But the one that we're kind of looking at is Meep and Thirst Trap. They're all 7. I mean, I know technically they're at the bottom of this board, but the fact is they could go anywhere really with this. And
I mean, that's crazy though, Sham. If I would have told you, looking at these rosters at the start of the season, our first trap are going to be 7th place, by the way, before that final play day of the main stage. So very sad stuff to see, to be honest. But again, City Slinkies have really secured their position at the top. Yet again, remember, they won the previous season of Project Harmony. So that is really good going for them. If they're able to do back-to-back wins like this, it's a very promising sign for them. Of course, I say that, but, a lot of veteran experience within that roster, especially even at the T1 level, Marmalade and Goddess, of course, have T1 experience as players, and that's something not to poo-poo, to be honest. It's that kind of experience that the rest of the roster can really get a hold of and to take a lot of learning lessons from. And I think if you're playing against a roster like that, it's still this idea of, okay, we can actually learn a lot here. We can see what they're doing. We can see what we're doing. We can compare it. We can work out, okay, this is clearly something maybe that we struggle with. How do we iron it out? How do we improve going forward? Even things like earlier with the Night Haven. There's so many things you could do with Night Haven nowadays that we see a lot at that T1 level. They can be adapted and utilized. I think that's something I really want to see going forward. It's just maybe it's not so much stealing strats, but just again adapting some of the stuff that we're seeing in other tournaments, bringing it into this, trying to get the upper edge, throwing everything in the kitchen sink, really making things really spicy, really dicey, especially when we do go into playoffs. Because again, if you're against a side like
Silly Slinkies.
Silly Slinkies, yeah. So for some reason I was going to say Super Slinkies, and I was like, it's not Super Slinkies. It could be Super Slinkies, but no, it's not Silly Slinkies. That is a really, a really fun thing you can do. Just kind of be like, hey, let's absolutely strap the absolute nines out of this and get them on the ropes, work out what they do, work out how to unpick that. A little bit of the old VOD review.
Yes. A little bit of review always does help. Before we head off, of course, that was the final game of the evening. Before we head off, just to kind of go over the next week's one very quickly. Cinta Negra is Girls on Fire. Cinta Negra need to win that or they're done. That's it, over. But it's going to be difficult, of course, against Girls on Fire, who technically are already through and don't have anything to play for other than that top seed. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for them. Wildcard Queens versus Admin Abuse as well, and then Meep versus Thirst Trap, which is absolutely the game that we should be focused on, because that game is, depending on other games, it's basically the decider for who's going to go through. Of course, top 4 go through. 4 teams will be heading home before we go into playoffs. So one more week, one more play day left. That will be next week, kicking off. I guess given that we're in the British time, if we're on the European time, it'll be 8 p.m. Central European time, so European summertime, if you want to call it. Yes. I keep forgetting we've changed the clocks back and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, it's been a pleasure casting with you, Grace. It's been a wonderful night. I am going to go to my bed because I'm so very, very tired. But I've had a great time. It's been wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been Project Harmony. I'm Chamberine. She's Grace V, and we will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Drop the diffuser. 15 seconds remaining. 10 seconds.
Just
located. Attackers activating. Seconds left. 10 seconds to go. User has been dropped. Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Reloading.
Impact out. Attackers activating diffuser. Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser. Bomb diffuser. Attackers have recovered their diffuser. Attackers recovered. Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser. Seconds to go. 10 seconds left.